Hey to everybody in the chat. First of all, you went into an area with haters. Okay, the haters come out to play when Sharon go to somebody else's home. Okay, they come out. You have some men who come and sit on your panel. They hate you, right? So they definitely want to catch you in other places, But I know Unlikely heard what that man and his daughter said. So I'm not sure what the fight back. They even went to go look up a place, a museum that you mentioned. Everything you say got to be true, where they're going to go search it. But they can just say whatever they want. And so it's crazy.
And I really don't understand it for the life of me why so many people try to argue true things and act as if I'm doing something to them. I really do not understand it. Like the dude asked me to come out there. That I guess he got what he was looking for, right? He thought he was going to have me all tripped up and have me sounding all crazy and goofy. But in reality, when we having the interview, we was having the conversation. He wound up agreeing with 98% of the things that I say. And again, like here go Unlikely again. This is insane. He never wanted to talk about the things that we are actually talking about. It's interesting. I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know why they have such a disdain for me. I can't even explain why they have such a disdain.
Because you won't kiss them. You won't kiss them. You don't notice that's what they want. They want Sharon, they want Brownsville to come up and mention them by name the way he does the women. They mad at that. And they mad that you let the women come up and speak. Yeah, that's what they're mad at.
And the crazy part about it is that like it does work for them, right? Because even women are afraid to come up on my panel too. Let me not say afraid. I think there's a lot of women that just like to go to the place that is, I guess, attacking women. It seemed like it's a little bit safer for them there. Like, how they have the grace mentality. That's what I think it'd be.
Yeah. I heard you got beat up on because I was sewing on your panel. I apologize. Even being a woman is, yeah, Reacher, they was beating up on him because some woman is sewing on his panel. That's it.
I meant to ask you before we get into the commentary, Bum. I was asking you to make me something, but you wasn't hearing me. I saw you making some stuff and you was sewing. I was like, Bum, make me something. You had the logos up and everything, but you didn't hear me. I get you on the back.
Okay. Yeah, I was listening to music. Once it get crazy, I start listening.
I know. You was making some stuff.
I know you were AKA girl. I know. Don't.
I saw you over there. I said, girl, she over there making some stuff. Over there, I was typing in. You want that? Well, make me some, girl. So, you guys, that commentary you just played was a virtual slap, and not just my face, but all around the world for not only women and children and victims and the things we're trying to do. Like the amount of effort and money we're putting into the Love Shouldn't Hurt, not a campaign, but the education on campuses and all that work. And this is the exact opposite of what we're teaching. Like we're educating the women, mostly the young girls, because they need it first. You get older, you know better, you do better, and you learn things. But the young girls and the demographics and how the stats with them is like, I think it's 1 in 4 in their age brackets between like 17 and 24. I think it's 1 in 4, something like that. Of in that room in the auditorium of how many will be in a situation like this, and it won't go so well. They'll get a unfavorable outcome. And by unfavorable, I mean become assaulted in a non-consensual type of way. And this is so disappointing and disgusting that people are getting on this worldwide internet and think they don't even have a responsibility to the world to teach, to go against the obvious. Like they're going against no one thinks this way, but weirdos, perverts, degenerates, and assault people who actually enjoy this type of stuff. The world doesn't think that this is not the majority thinking. Something's wrong there. No one would, even if you don't have a daughter, you don't have to have any girls, you don't have a sister, you don't have anything. You as a guy, something in you naturally should be like, okay, yeah. Oh, she said no. I don't think there's, any man that doesn't get at that point, okay, we got that far, but we stop and dang, that's what first base, second base, third base is for. You didn't get to go all that way because something interrupted it, whether it was her saying no or somebody came in the room. It stopped. The no further continuance of the act going on came into play. So I'm just trying to figure out who gave them who passed the baton to them to think they can teach against that, what has been ingrained in society, how to protect yourself as men, not to get caught up in she didn't really want to do it, but when how not only the protectors is protecting both parties to just stop. Where did I must have missed the memo that came in or the email that said, well, technically, she got to do something to finish. I missed that. Mom, did you get that email? Because I didn't see it. Did y'all get I didn't see no emails come in that say these are the new rules of engagement when caught in a situation with a male friend or partner. If you get this far, you gotta give him something. Like, are you kidding me? What in a non-special victims unit SPU is going on here? They can't be serious. Like, that is very reckless. Teaching on the internet is going to be here forever. And like Sharon said, somebody's going to hear this. Somebody who doesn't understand the rules of engagement, who doesn't understand, like, they're going to hear that and be like, oh man, okay, yeah, you got to finish me off. You can't just, sir, ridiculous.
That's what they used to say. We taught young boys and girls away from that. But that is what they used to think. That if a woman said yes, it meant no. I mean, if she said no, it meant yes. Because she shouldn't have been there. And it depends on what she was wearing. Oh, what was you wearing? It's your fault. You must have wanted this. So that was the way they used to believe that. Hey, you shouldn't have been kissing him. What he gave you is what you wanted. But we got away from that. So, but apparently a man who have, relations with his daughter, of course, he gonna say whatever benefits him. And she's a victim. So, she's a victim, so she agrees with it because that's what she was raised with, y'all.
Welcome into the show. Sway, producing. Good day. What was your thoughts?
I'm driving. Hello. So if you hear background noise, I apologize. I'm going to try to make it quick and short and simple. I'm not going to dive deep into all the no means no and yes means yes and yes means no and no means all that. I don't really have to or have dealt with any of that confusion. Ultimately, in terms of when he was saying something, women should do something, I think he mentioned like a hand job or something. Like if they do such and such, then they should do something. My rule of thumb with saying any type of people should do, especially if it's like men should do something or women should do something, usually the rule of thumb is that you have to apply that across the board, meaning your children. It can't be like women should do this because they're a random woman out on the earth, but then that same logic wouldn't apply to your kids, your wife, your daughter, your mom, your cousins, and any of the women you care about. Usually if I'm gonna say something like women should do something, then that would apply that I'm gonna say that to my daughter, my wife, and my mom, or any of the women that I actually like and love and care about. So, but that's just me. But I think a lot of men say things outlandishly without the thought that this also would have to apply to my daughter, when she's dealing with random men out on the earth. And I don't think maybe he does, but generally speaking, I don't think men would be like, yeah, a woman should give me a hand job if she teases me enough. But then if they think about their daughters, like, well, my daughter teased a guy, I don't think she's required to give him any sexual acts.
All right, so the problem is that his daughter was on the panel and she agreed.
I know, that's why I was like, maybe not his situation because they're weird. Him and his daughter are weirdos. Like, she smokes cigarettes and drinks like hard liquor since she was like 19. That's pretty weird.
So you think he's the only person that thinks like this?
No, I don't think he's the majority of men though.
Why not?
Well, I
Unlikely
think
agreed with them as well.
who?
Unlikely agreed with him as well.
I didn't watch enough of the video. Which part did he agree with him?
The cock teasing and that she should at least owe him something.
I find that unlikely. That unlikely agreed to that. Just knowing him from a little bit, I do know. But if he did, he did. I still was disagreed that generally men would think that that rule would apply to their daughters as well. That if they say usually, I mean, if they're honest about it, like JP, he's honest enough to say I have like double standards, or not double standards, but like a hypocritical nature where his rules should be not for me type of energy. And I guess if you admit to it, doesn't necessarily make it wrong, but at least you're not lying about it. So I think ultimately, to answer your question, I still don't think the majority of men would say, yeah, I'm cool with, requiring my daughter to give them a hand job if she teases a guy, or saying that she should do that. I don't think guys are saying that.
So you don't think most men are saying like, damn girl, I got blue balls, you could at least just jerk me off?
They might. That's what I'm saying. They might say that to random women they dealing with. I just don't think they're applying that same rule to the women they love in their life. That if those women are put in those situations, that they're like, yeah, you should have given him a hand job. Like, why would you tease him and then not give him a hand job? I don't think that's how the conversation would go, generally speaking.
I don't know. Why would you? Why do you give men so much grace to believe that that's what's happening? Even though on these panels,
I would say mainly because
let me finish it. Even though on these panels they are displaying something completely different than what you were saying.
I think mainly for me now, Sharon, is that I'm not around these panels enough to where this is kind of like saturating my view on what men are. I kind of have taken a step back and try to see a whole picture of everything that's actually happening in my real life to what's happening on the panels. And I can't refute what some of these dumb niggas say on the panels, but in the same breath, if I bring up these concepts and conversations to a lot of men in real life, they are going to disagree or find a lot of these conversations confusing and crazy. Usually the only ones that can kind of not necessarily relate, but doesn't find these conversations crazy are young people, because they're on the internet and they're probably watching these conversations. But like anyone over the age of like 27, generally speaking, in my life, they're not really trying to have these type of male-female conversations and what women.
Yeah, but that's because people know the consequences in real life to say these type of things in real life. That's number one. Number two, most people are afraid that they're going to actually get judged in real life. On the internet, they have this kind of fake protection that they have in their mind, and that's why they can have these difficult conversations online versus in person. Most people are not willing to engage in these conversations in real life because they're afraid to get their real thoughts out there. That's why majority of the time when you see people, even at barbecues, everything is like, yo, you see the game, and they can't have no deeper conversations. Nobody want to talk about politics, religion, or relationships. They keep it very surface. Like, how you doing? I'm doing good. I ain't seen you in a long time. Damn, you got tall. So we understand why they do not engage further.
I can't put a jacket on people that haven't displayed anything for me to kind of think that of them. So I still hold the belief the majority of men that I interact with, I don't put the jacket on them that they would be cool with that type of scenario for their daughter, like this man was, or I guess like unlikely was. Now, like I said, I'm going to agree with you that they probably, if they're in that situation and they're with a random woman, and they got teased up, they're probably going to push this situation to go further. I mean, I don't disagree with that. It's just when they're trying to apply that logic to their daughter, I think men typically start to become hypocrites and don't hold that same logic.
I don't know. I'm not understanding your thought pattern on that. A lot of people are willing to do things to other people that they wouldn't want done to them.
I know, that's why I was saying that makes them partially. I mean, not exactly, because I get it. Like women want certain things done to men wouldn't want done to them, and vice versa. But just in the general school of thumb, in terms of this scenario, I am saying men, generally speaking, are hypocrites when they're talking about that dynamic of, oh, I want a woman to go further. if you start bringing up their daughter or their mom or their grandma, they're probably not going to have the same energy. So
All right, so but what does all right? So you saying it, but what does that mean? That doesn't mean that they don't have that logic.
no, I'm saying, yeah, they have that logic for themselves and random women. I'm saying they wouldn't say that, like, yeah, if their daughter brought up this scenario, was like, hey, I was in a scenario with a guy and then he pressed me, for more. And I was like, no, the dad's not going to be like, well, you're in the wrong for teasing him. You should have done more. I don't think that he's going to say that.
But that's why he won't say that to his daughter to her face. But it doesn't change the ideology that he has.
I'm understanding what you're talking about, because you're saying reluctantly he still believes that, the women should still do it, even though it's okay for not his daughter, but for everyone else. So you're still saying
Exactly.
the ideology still stands.
Thank you.
Which
Right.
is what I agreed with you, because generally speaking, they're dealing with random women. That's why I'm just calling out that they're hypocrites. I can't do that. For me, it's kind of hard for me to say one thing that most women should be doing something, and then I couldn't say that same thing.
But some of them not even hypocrites.
Life.
Some of them not hypocrites because, like, I've seen where they blame the daughter. Hey, you shouldn't have went with him. Hey, you shouldn't have been with him. Hey, you kissed him and it's your fault. Stop teasing these boys. Even just based on what we wearing could be considered teasing. So then they tell us not to wear certain things. And you hear these men say this to women today. Why you got on that low cut top? Why is your skirt or shorts so short? Those type of things.
What you wear can tease a man. I just think women wear. Well,
there he go with the same ideology.
Have a great day, people. I'm not playing.
Like
it is 2026.
Hold on, Sway. You said hold on, Sway. You saying what a woman wears can tease a man?
If you allow me to finish, because Sharon, if your woman wore,
that's the issue that we have is about this allowing the finish part. But go ahead.
If your woman wore lingerie before you go to bed, is that not? So, like I said, in a sense, women can. You're talking about publicly going outside. I'm not worried about that, but the idea that women could tease a man through their clothes, they can definitely tease a man through their clothes, and actually, the women do that in relationships.
All right, hold on. You hold on. Don't conflate things just to make it right.
Well,
you do understand we're not talking about somebody that is in a married situation that's having a very fruitful relationship and she's trying to express to her man that she trusts that she wants some tonight. We are not talking about that at all. We're talking about two people that never encountered sex with each other. That's what we're talking about.
That's
okay. So don't conflate those two things.
That's why I was disagreeing with the blanketed statement. The blanketed statement is that women can't tease men through their clothes, and that's not true. Now, if you expound on it and say you just going outside wearing regular clothes, I mean, that's not on you. You just being a human being.
No, what I'm saying is that we're having a conversation, so you don't need to make it literal.
So even if you don't, so you're telling me there aren't women out and about, and not the majority, but just in general, there are women that wear clothes to attract the attention of men?
That's not. Yes, there is women out there that is trying to attract men. So now correlate that to teasing a man.
And do you think they wear profanity outfits to tease men for whatever reason?
No.
So when you have you ever been to Las Vegas?
Yes.
And you never seen those girls that will be wearing the tight police ass booty titties out, and they're trying to tease men. They're literally spanking men as they're going by and trying to get them to come grab their boobs and all that. You never seen that?
No.
Oh, I have. I've been there within the last month, and they've tried to do that to both
hold on.
of my
So hold on. Let me make sure I'm saying. Is it a job?
They literally try to do that to both of my coworkers. So, I mean, the logic. But if we don't want to understand it, it's okay.
Wait, hold on. Sway, hold on. Are you saying that these people are working?
I have no idea what they're doing. I didn't entertain it.
Right.
You know they're working.
Okay, so what we are trying to have a conversation is about everyday people walking outside, and she chose whatever clothes she chose to wear, not somebody that is enticing men by spanking them on the butt and trying to have a conversation to lure them into something else. We talking about Las Vegas, women wearing police outfits, spanking men. We know that's a working woman.
Well, I just know that the logic of women wearing clothes to tease men.
Do you disagree that most?
Hold on.
I need clarity. I need
So to act
clarity.
like that's crazy.
Hold on. I need clarity.
It's
Hold on.
kinda crazy.
Hold on. I need clarity. Are we saying that most likely that woman that is wearing that police outfit in Vegas, spanking men, that is a woman that is most likely selling her body?
I have no idea. I guess maybe, I don't know. I don't deal with that
We
industry.
talking about
I
most
wouldn't know
likely.
what
We
she
talking about
doing.
most likely because in Vegas it's legal, correct?
I have no idea.
You have no idea that it's legal in Vegas?
No, because I don't. Why would I pay for coochie?
Okay, so the problem is that you bringing that up and you saying that you don't have no that. So it is legal in Vegas to sell yourself sexually.
That's insane. Well, I know those women were trying to tease men to get them to come up to them and entice them. So, and based on
Okay,
what they were wearing,
all right,
was an
so now that you got that information
based on
that
what they were wearing was an attraction trigger for that. So, I mean, I would
okay,
assume other
Sway,
women.
but what I'm
know
saying is
how
that
to
you're
do
trying,
that.
what you not understand that when you say these type of things, you're trying to turn it into a excuse for men, right? So what I'm trying to get you to understand that situation that you're talking
You
about
said
in
I'm
Vegas,
trying to turn it into an excuse, or you saying it sounds like an excuse?
no, you're turning it into an excuse.
Oh, okay.
And the reason
What's
why
the
it's
excuse
turning
for?
into an excuse, I'm gonna explain why it's turning into an excuse is because when you're saying Vegas, women wearing certain kind of clothes, showing their ass, and you acting as if you didn't know, or what you were saying that you did not know that you could sell yourself in Vegas is disingenuous because we're talking about the everyday woman versus a street walking woman. Those are not the same. We cannot have them in the same
only
category.
confusing part, I guess, one is that I don't know what I'm making an excuse for men to do, but two, the only confusing part for me is that those
Can I
same
answer it
outfits
before you expound?
I've seen those same outfits on college campuses when girls get up on Halloween or when they're going to parties.
And there
any
go the
random
excuse.
event that they go
That's
through.
the hold on. So hold on.
I don't
Pause right
know.
there. Please pause right there. Please.
They're normal chicks.
Hold on. Pause right there, please. That's where the excuse comes in.
What?
One is doing it. One is wearing that police uniform for Halloween or some kind of party where it's not part of the everyday.
I think the problem is you think it's just because I'm saying women do things to entice men based on what they wear is that it's okay for men to aggressively approach them. I never said that that's okay. I just said women can put on clothes to entice men or even tease men. That's the only statement I've agreed to, that they have the ability to do so. Now, the statement that men should do more, be extra, I would never say that because, like I said, I'm not the thirsty type to think I got to pay for coochie or be aggressive. Usually, I just keep minding my business. If anything, I don't like it when women do that. So I'm not the one to kind of go up to them. I told you I ignored those women in Vegas because that's not my scene.
There he go. He said he don't like when women just wear clothing because some of those clothing may tease him, even though she may not even know him, don't even see him, but he get teased and it's her fault. And then that's when we are required to do something because we teased him. And that's not based on what you said, everything you said, but the people you kind of agree with on that panel, that's what they were saying. And by the way, you also kind of brushed off the fact that father and son, father, daughter, I apologize, father, daughter, that I don't know if you know, but they are, they have this incestuous relationship. You kind of want to brush that off.
That's just too much for me. That's just some extra shit. I'm pretty normal, pretty plain. The only reason I say I don't
but that's who they are, though.
But like I was saying, like the reason why I say I don't like that stuff, like the certain clothing like that, is because, like I said, the logic would have to stand. I wouldn't want my daughter with her ass and titties out just walking down the street. That my wife, my mom, my grandma, anyone, I wouldn't want that. So I don't like it when I see women. Granted, I'm not going to say I don't like you wearing this. I don't express that to them, but ultimately in the back of my head, I'm like, this not for me. I don't like this shit. So
but that's fine. That's for you personally.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to say that, when you're trying to say majority of men have your same mentality, is the problem. They don't.
Yeah,
they have the mentality on that. They have the mentality of Ben, because we know even you self-admitted that they are willing to do it for themselves to make that excuse, but they're not willing to give that same excuse for their daughter, right? That's the only time when that logic won't make sense for them. Is like, hey, I wouldn't give that advice to my daughter. But in reality, that's how they moving around. And that's how they teach them how to move around. And so therefore we understand that majority of men are moving in that direction, regardless if they're giving that advice to their daughter or not. They might change it for just that one person or 5 daughters that they have, but majority of men still move with the ideology that, damn,
They
I
like ass
want
and
to
titties
get that
out.
hand job out of it, and it's not the correct thing to make excuses for those type of men to keep on masking themselves as something that they are not.
Yeah, I don't think that men should be doing or pressing for hand jobs either. Usually, once they say no, I kind of just leave or move accordingly. I mean, I don't, whatever the relationship dynamic was.
Right, but that's you, and that's fine that that's you. But we're not talking about you personally, and that's I
I
guess
still don't
where
think
the
the majority of
I think that's the misunderstanding that we having, is that we hear the men on a constant basis say the same thing over and over, and then we have good men come and give excuses for these men saying the BS over and over and over by either putting themselves into it or
Well, I haven't
giving
given them an excuse. I just think my points have been conflated. Like I said, I've already agreed with you that I think most of the men that say stuff up there are pretty much hypocrites about it. So I've already agreed to that point. I just said the expounding point that if they were, what you would just agree to as well, is that if they was to talk to their daughters, they wouldn't hold that same energy.
but that doesn't
I
mean
think we agree.
it doesn't mean that it changed their mentality.
I didn't say it did change the mentality.
But when you say it, it gives them an out to act as if they don't have that mentality. So I'm trying to get you to understand my point in it. When you say that, upstanding person says that, they say, see, I don't have that thought. I wouldn't give that advice to my daughter. It doesn't matter if you give the voice to your daughter or not. You still walk around with that ideology regardless.
But we said that already. Me and you already said
no,
that.
But that part got to be honed, and it got to be solid foundation that you, that man, right? He has that ideology. It doesn't matter if you give it to his daughter or not. But when you keep saying you said that,
we agree.
I
said
not understanding why I'm
because it don't apply. It don't. All that logic applies to random women. It does not apply.
Okay, so now you all right. So
we agreed.
And how you saying that helps this conversation by saying what? That man, he won't do that to his daughter, or thing is okay for his daughter. That means what in the world?
I didn't say that. I made a full statement. So the main point that I wanted to make hone in on.
No, but I'm asking you something.
That's what
it's not about what you said, because we hold on. We in agreement about what you said. We both agreed with what you said. I'm saying, what do the thing that you said? How does that help us move the movement forward so men can start understanding that this is not the right thing to do? That's what I'm asking.
That's why that's the point of my statement for myself, is that how men should move forward is having the rule of thumb that it has to apply to your daughter and your wife and every other woman that's related to you care about outside of the women you do sexually. Because if it don't, then you shouldn't run that as significant logic. If men are so logical, then that should be the crux of it. If you can't apply that to your daughter, then you shouldn't be able to apply that for yourself. That's the point. So those men are hypocrites.
Okay, and so now, so now that you said that, the part that you are missing is that men do apply that to their daughter. They would tell their daughter, you shouldn't award that. He literally said it in the show that we was reviewing. If she goes upstairs, she kissed him. She at least owes him. A lot of men think that way.
And for their daughters or for the women they deal with?
And even the daughter agreed, say yes.
I don't think that's where we disagree. I don't think that's true. I don't think the majority of men believes that their daughters should be forced to do anything with a man, regardless of damn near any of the situations.
And then that's when you're not paying attention to what men are actually saying, and that's the issue that I'm
on these panels.
On these panels and in life.
And in life, they don't say that.
That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. They do say that. We hear it all the time when they try to victim blame the woman, even if it is their daughter. But what did you do? What did you wear? What did you say? Were you drunk?
No, we can actually quantify that, but
it is
ultimately, I don't think we disagree for the majority of Sharon. I think the big part is we actually do agree that men shouldn't be holding this ideology for women, that they shouldn't feel pressed on getting coochie or hand jobs or anything from women, regardless of how teased they are. You know, I would say, men, don't put yourselves in that compromised position, nigga.
Go ahead. Welcome to the show.
To get teased,
okay. Welcome to the show. Okay. Welcome to the show. The voice of Venus. What's your thoughts?
Good morning.
Good day to you.
Everybody.
Good
Real
morning,
quick.
Venus.
I'll be in your chat, but you'll never see me. You'll be reading your chat, Bomb. But anyway,
I don't read the chat. I apologize.
you don't.
Good.
I wanted
Showed
to talk
up.
about the women real quick because when I didn't hear the whole thing, but when I came in, I heard the woman saying the woman should apologize for getting him sexually riled up, and I heard you say, "Damn, it's getting to the point that men are convincing women, right?" So that's kind of something I wanted to speak to. I've been noticing that a lot lately with women, black women, white women, don't matter. Like it's the men have successfully indoctrinated the women so much that the women are doing the work for them. Similar to like black people being indoctrinated with white supremacy ideology. And then it gets to the point where black people will run around spewing harmful rhetoric against black people because they've internalized it so much. We can now compare that to women, right? Women have internalized these male talking points so much that they're running around now and spewing that rhetoric to other women as if it's supposed to be normal, right? Because during a sexual act as a human, if the man decided he didn't want to keep going for whatever reason he decided, that should be his right and it should be respected. You see what I'm saying? That goes for either gender. So when you get to the point where you have women perpetuating the idea that a woman should not be able to do that, and if she did, she owes you an apology, that's very problematic, right? That's very scary. But I've been seeing an uptick with this with women more and more to where they're making arguments that are directly against their own best interest on behalf of men, and they don't even understand that they're doing it because they're spending too much time listening to these men, internalizing these ideas and wanting to appear to be attractive or appease them, that they're starting to kind of just sound ridiculous. Like you should never want to appease men so much that you forget about your own like survival.
Right.
Women cannot be running around promoting ideas like that. That's not safe. So when we get to that point, that's a problem. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah, I just
And
want to say,
men, you guys also know you should be protecting yourself too. You don't want like you're going to be the one that's doing the time. You're going to be the one forever registered as an offender on your record by listening to the ideology and well, she shouldn't have had me up here and what she had on. Keep playing and see what it gets you. Yeah, so and even it doesn't even have to go that far, even just to say, well, you got to finish me off. If they didn't want to, that still counts. So don't sit here and think like some slow people in the short bus part of the chat that finishing off any unwanted continuation of activity once it's decided I'm done, and you still want something else and you force that still counts too. So I hope you all not thinking very 1972 that actual the full act of penetration and insertion of some type only counts. I hope you do realize the assault still goes in with even touching. They didn't want to do anything. They were done data, but you just kept on and you insisted that what you know run me out or finish it off. So just keep on playing and see what it gets you. Keep playing and see what happens. Okay.
Oh, and I want to just say to women, you guys really need to consider the source whenever you're taking in any information, because that young lady, if I'm not mistaken, that's that guy's daughter, right? So we see his mentality, right? And then we see his offspring. So now to the untrained ear, they could hear her. They don't know any better. And they think, oh, she's a woman. She's telling me something that makes sense for my best. And no, look at who she got the information from. A man. And unfortunately, a lot of the ideas that women have about themselves when it comes to the way you should conduct yourself, the way you should dress, everything about you came from a man. Like you guys don't even know at this point who you are, who you want to be, because everything historically has always been told to you by a man. You're supposed to be modest. You're supposed to be soft spoken. You're supposed to it was legal to R-word your wife not too long ago, right? Women are supposed to be silent, right? So if we really get into most of the things that are societally accepted by women, they are usually things that are very beneficial to men if you pay attention.
Yeah.
Like you being like a submissive wife is beneficial to who? A man, right?
Mhm.
You being silent, put yourself on the back burner, let him lead is beneficial to who? A man. You
Mhm.
not being able to have a bank account or vote unless you get your like everything that society tells you about yourself is beneficial to a man. So women need to think about that. Like stop letting people just tell you anything and you don't do any critical thinking about who's saying it and why are they saying it and who does it benefit.
Mm.
Venus,
Like,
you think
I just
before
want
I
to. I
jump
just
in,
want to say.
go ahead, Bomb.
Oh, yeah. I just want to say I'm not sure if some of y'all don't know, but that father daughter relationship
Mhm.
is an incestuous one. That
And-
means they they've been caught having actual sex together, and that's what they do. And so yes, wow. Like I'm shocked that people have them on a panel. You know,
I get, yeah.
people them white people ran them away and talked and dogged them out. You know.
So we all thinking the same because I was just about to say that, Bomb, and add in that girl, that daughter, she just as dangerous, if not more than her dad. Because those are type of women that it ain't been that long that allowed that had our drinks getting spiked. I remember there was a time, of course I'm not gonna not remember that, but it was the girl in the family that was letting her uncle spike our drinks. We didn't know what was going on. And it was her. And later on, her only excuse was, well, it had to be somebody. And I was tired of it being me. She willingly let us not willingly, she willfully allowed us to unknowingly have our drinks spiked. And she was that's the way she grew up and was trained. That's no excuse, and she got what she deserved, that entire family. But I was just gonna say what Bond was hitting on, that's a dangerous one. She equally, if not more dangerous, is the man, because that type of woman will have you thinking, okay, around the girl, and she done called you in and come on, y'all, have a slice of pie. Little did you know, use your imagination. But yeah, that's a very dangerous woman in the worst type of way. I digress.
Yeah,
I
she's
ain't
a
gonna lie,
victim.
at this
and
point,
dangerous.
Black people sitting around even talking to them, what is the point? Like we keep going to be around the most horrible people and then being like, well, they're horrible. Well, we know that though. Like what do you get out of even having conversations with them? For like, I'm not in agreement with this idea that some of the content creators have, like, oh, everyone deserves to be heard and free speech and blah blah. No, I'm not with that. When certain people show you there's just different levels of degeneracy that they're willing to partake in openly, why are you like even talking to them? Why are you platforming them? Why are you debating them? Do you think you're gonna say something they're gonna be like, aha, okay, I'm not gonna be like a weirdo anymore? That's never gonna happen. Like, what is the point?
The point is that it's other people that you can influence to make sure that this rhetoric gets challenged properly, because for far too long it has not been challenged. Since the 50s and 60s up until now, it has not been challenged publicly. And that is the real thing. Like, so when I was on that panel, I was invited to that panel. It was just a one-on-one conversation. And then he opened it up the panel 2 hours later. And then these people that claim that they have this issue with me, they wound up hitting the panel. After he showed up, I didn't stay too much longer because I just didn't want to, kind of what you said, I didn't want to deal with the back and forth anymore and just be disrespected for too much longer. So I did leave like not too shortly after that. That's why I ended it. But I left because they like, oh, they want me to just take abuse from all these different people that have a problem with me. Like, no, I'm only going to take it to a certain point when I realized that the host of the show was not able to regulate it anymore. So then I left. But it's because we do need men to stand up for what is correct. That's the main reason why I speak up the way I speak up about these things, and show that that it is other men that have the same ideology. They don't have to be afraid to speak up anymore, because way too often we keep the men that's doing the righteous thing. They are supposed to be the ones that shut up and not engage in any conversation. You a good person, stay away. That don't work.
I'm just starting to feel like it's getting to the point that like not you personally, like just overall the culture of the conversations like are evolving, and not in a good way, in a bad way, right? Like it's a little more accepted to talk about beating women on panels, right? It's a little more accepted to talk about inappropriate ages of women and indulging with men, right? Or violence. Like I just see like the slow conditioning that has been going on where things that a lot of us were raised where these would not be normal conversations, they're starting to just become very normal conversations very regularly. And I'm just wondering what that does to like the general public, right? Because I'm looking at your chat too, even before I came up here, and I saw a lot of men like, oh, but women act like they don't know what they be doing. Women do tease men, women, right? So it's still a bunch of men in the chat kind of basically agreeing with that man.
Yeah. I saw him too, Venus. Just bold with it. They just strong and wrong with their deviancy.
Like
they're getting strong and wrong with the deviancy.
That's what I mean. Like it's making them more and more comfortable to be like this. And these are influential people. Some of them, they have nephews, they have sons, they're around younger women. So we got a bunch of people who think like that. And now they're so bold. They saying it in public. And now they're so bold, the daughters are agreeing with them. Right? The daughter's thinking it's okay now. And now the daughter's going to influence other women. No, girl, you should just let him finish. You should go through with it. What?
The 100%.
This is really reckless. I mean, I guess no one's took the time. This is why I'm not. Look, sometimes some people just they don't deserve to be on these platforms, and all it takes is someone to know how to work it. I hope YouTube does a good job on their sweep, taking folks off of here and demonetized, because getting paid to even promote assault is like mind-boggling. And I mean, it's ridiculous. And they were on camera. They just they're not even behind the troll page. They so bold with it. They just like, here's my face. Their face should be ran through the goddamn on database. So let me go do a facial. I know we need a facial recognition added to these type of platforms, because who knows what the heck they're responsible for. I mean, the recklessness of it and not having any shame. That's what's worse. Like, there is no shame. There are some things you should be ashamed of. You should be absolutely ashamed of saying, but this and saying and laugh. Like, oh, we do this all the time. She got to finish him out. You know, you freaks. You freaking weirdos. Oh,
and then they tried to make it seem like Sharon was lying on them. Right? They tried to say, I didn't say that. And so what they mean is you didn't say what they said word for word. What you said, what they meant, right? And they tried to act like you didn't. And then what got me was when what his name, who come over here, tried to make it seem like you were lying on them. Sharon, why you gotta lie? Why they use the word lie like that? It's intentional, you know.
They are liars. Liars are gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? That's what
at this point, sometimes I don't know if it is a good thing for me to combat them. I don't know. Is it a good thing? Y'all let me know. BG Bomb, is it a good thing that I do combat this problematic rhetoric that they push out into the internet?
No, I want to say, you want to go first, Mom? It don't matter to me. I would say no, only because I've been in your situation, Sharon, and giving people the benefit of the doubt of, okay, maybe this conversation will be responsible. Maybe it'll go a certain way, and it doesn't. And I always say, well, you ain't got to tell me twice. I believed you the first time when you showed me your horns, who you are. I don't need 2, 3, 4 times people to show me who they are. And I would hate to see your face, because everybody don't always listen through thoroughly to see what's going on. I would hate for your face to be seen and associate with other deviancy people. Sometimes they got to sit by themselves, because you don't want your face caught up in. They don't deserve to sit with you. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if you're saying the most prolific, mind-changing, award-winning commentary. They don't deserve to sit with stable mind, a responsible man who's also responsible to the women in his life and the community and all. They just don't deserve to sit with you. So they just get cut off. My answer is cut them off. They've lost access and proximity to you.
And so let me to To S. Gonzala, yes, this is live. I'm not sure why you're asking if it's live or not. Yes, it is a live show. This is weird to me that people do this type of thing, but yes, it's a live show. Go ahead, Venus. Do you think I should stop combating this repeated rhetoric that these men are saying?
No, I don't think you should ever stop. I think I liked your answer. I think you're right when you say like a man specifically needs to, because so many don't, right? Unfortunately, and what we've seen is most men uh do what Lee did. They'll sit there and go along with it, or they won't say anything. So actually, no, I'm kind of with you on the I don't think you should stop, because women make these arguments all the time. Nobody cares. It does help when a man is able to see it from our perspective and maybe communicate to other men. So yeah, actually, no, I don't think you should stop. I think you should stop like going places where, at this point, you know what it is. I think you stop doing that. But
All right, Bomb Cherry, what you think?
I'm sorry, I'm fighting in the chat. Which I know I'm in the chat. So I think that you should do your challenge the way you want to do it, right? I like when you bring up what they've said while you was there and showing everybody. And I think it's important because we do know these men feel the way some of these men are saying it, but in real life, they're not really talking about it, right? But you men know what men are thinking. You see how they act when the women aren't around, when other people aren't around. And most men are not thinking about their wives and daughters and mothers when they're out and about in the real world, right? And so yes, it's sad that when these men come up, they won't be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to just be honest. Like for instance, I'm gonna mention Donald Trump only in the fact that when he got that hot mic and he mentioned what he did by grabbing women, and guess what the world said? Oh, that was just locker room talk, right? Oh, that's what men do. That's how men, and they thought it was okay. A lot of people. That's all.
Absolutely, and I just wanted to make sure when I started seeing those things to let people know, like, I ain't never heard that in no locker room that I was in, or no barbershop that I was in. So I always found that very strange. Also, shout out to Sean 1350 with the 999. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said there is such thing as a no good woman. Every no good woman was made by a no good man. For the haters of the nation. Peace. Okay. All right.
Salute to the nation.
Yeah, we received that. Welcome to the show. Wall Street Willie. We got Shout at Time Waz, and I got somebody waiting in the back. Go ahead, Wall Street Willie.
Yeah, it's just sad. But I don't think we do the conversation a service by talking to them directly, right? I think reviewing this scumbaggery content would be kind of the better way to handle it, because at a certain point, giving them someone to be combative with gives their little platforms and their little arguments life. You know what I mean? So it's hard. I wouldn't say to stop challenging it. I would never say that. And no, I don't have to have a wife or a daughter to feel the way I feel. Like, it's important to protect women, and no, like, sex isn't just someone that's owed to a man under any circumstances, right? So it didn't take for me to have a wife or a daughter. I got a mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a cheer dad. My opinion comes from wanting to protect every single one of those little girls in that group. So, yeah, it's just nasty to hear these weirdos be so blatant with it. But that's a part of the reason, like I said in the chat, why I stopped even getting involved on certain platforms like CT's, for instance, because that's where I met these two weirdos. And at a certain point, we got to handle them a different way, or force them to come into the lion's den and deal with the conversation over here, because it's only going to go so far on their platforms. You dig what I'm saying?
Okay, I like that. Then we also welcome into the show Welcome to the show, Brownsville, New York. Good day, sir. How you doing?
Yo, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. First and foremost, Cuzzo, can you hear me? Am I coming through clear?
Yes, sir. I can hear you well.
Yeah, man. Let me take my shoes off before I walk into your room. Peace and love to the queens on the panel, man. Bomb, Cherry, Juice, Beachy, and the voice of Venus. Peace and love to y'all, man. And
Peace,
then peace and love to all the queens in the chat, man. Anya Bracy, the SBG First Lady, Robin M. DB, Sugar Bum, Rogue C, it's me, Dr. G, Sexy Red TV, Conversations with MJ, Miss Jalen, Genesis, The Verbal Assassin, Zero Tolerance, Victorious One, Dawn, Renee, Keisha G, Maya Reed, The Real Prism, Karen Mackey, Natasha Vincent, all the queens, man, all the queens. I don't forget about none of the queens. Every time I hit this platform, I'm making my purpose to lift y'all up, give y'all flowers, and show these men, show these knuckleheads how they should be treating the ladies, the queens, and the women on the internet, man. And peace and love to the kings as well. Can't forget about the kings. Cuzzo, you went over to the Labuto network, is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, man, you gotta have a little bit more situational awareness, right? Because if somebody invite me to the Labuto Comedy Club, I ain't going. Because it's just something about that name that just sounds weird or something nefarious is about to happen, right? So anything with Labuto in it, I can't be a part of it. But I digress, right? I'm not surprised of the conversations you was having over there because, you know, the Queen Bomb Cherry, she pointed it out, right? That dude, the Caucasian, and his daughter, they got a lot of weird stuff going on with them and a lot of weird allegations attached to their name. And it is problematic that a lot of men are still willing to engage with them as if they're normal people, right? But we got to also be honest about the situation, right? We got a president who also has these weird, wild things attached to his name. And you got brothers like Shadow who will support him, right?
See, I knew he was gonna shoot a shot.
You know, you'll get a chance to respond, my brother. I'm about to land the plane real quick. In 2006, right, the pedo-in-chief was on The View. And he made the comments that if Ivanka Trump wasn't his daughter, he would be in a dating relationship with her. That's what he said when he was on The View, right? Fast forward, he goes on Howard Trump. I mean, what's the dude name?
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, right? And while he's engaged in a conversation with Howard Stern, he's talking about how voluptuous Ivanka Trump's, bosom is and all these different kind of things. And they was making a whole bunch of weird comments going back and forth, him and Howard Stern, about his own daughter, right? Then you fast forward and he's in a conversation with Wendy Williams, right? It was a regular conversation. At least it was supposed to be. Wendy Williams asked him, said, well, what do you have in common with your daughter, Ivanka Trump? You know what the pedo-in-chief said, Cuzzo? He said sex.
Sex.
That's what he said. That's what he said, right? So how is the pedo-in-chief, Donald Trump, how is he any different from Ben Thorpe? We gotta ask those questions, right? And it's just alarming that people aren't making those types of connections, right? The reason why the Ben Thorpes of the world are platformed today is because the president of the United States believes that engaging in that type of nefarious behavior is okay, right? And so, of course, you're going to have a lot of ignorant, degenerate men that's going to gravitate towards those conversations and make it seem like they're normal, right? And it was about a year or two, and I'm gonna land here because you gonna remember this, cuzzo. You was reviewing a situation, right, where a young lady's parents were making allegations about P. Diddy before the Cassie situation, before he had any of these situations going on. There was a situation where she went with her friends to a party, and something happened to her as far as going back home. I think one of the security or the bodyguards essayed her, right? And the men on the panel, if you remember, cuzzo, they were saying, well, why was she dressed that way? Well, why didn't she get in the car? Why didn't she call her parents? Instead of talking about the conversation and how wrong it is to just essay young ladies and young women, right? They're trying to find out and figure out a way to blame her. It's what she had on. She was scantily clad. Why did she get in the car with those guys? She should have had more discernment, situational awareness, things of that nature, right? As if a lack of discernment and a lack of situational awareness should amount to an essay. It's deplorable, it's disgusting, and a lot of these brothers have a degenerate mentality, right? But I want the brother Shadow and any brothers who support the pedo-in-chief, I want you to speak to the fact that he desired to have a relationship with his daughter. I want you to speak to the fact that he said that the thing that him and his daughter have in common is sex. I want you to speak to the fact of a man being brazen enough on national airwaves talking about their daughter in such a sexual way, and that you think it's okay for that person to serve as the president of this great country. As a father, as a husband, you should be as disgusted as I am. But for some strange reason, y'all are not. But yet, I get called the panderer. I get called the simp. You know, they say I'm abnormal. There's something wrong with me, right? Because I'm a husband of a beautiful wife. I'm a son of a beautiful mother. And I'm a father of a beautiful daughter. And it sickens me that we have so many men willing to move and speak in such a degenerate, selfish way that's not prioritizing the protection of our woman. Peace and love, man.
He never
All
lets
right,
me down.
before Shadow goes, Shadow the timeouts with the 10 ball. Fine pending. Also, we got Make Amends with the 2 ball. Shadow Traffic Girls. Y'all up there with them. Eyes open. Looking at you. Go ahead, Shadow. You get the dress all both.
So I don't even care who that last super chat was, but they can eat a dick. So since, you know, we're going to have that conversation because we're talking about a culture where literally we're talking about praising, pimping, and hoeing. So miss me with the dumb shit. Hey, I may have, again, I had issues in my past when I was in college, but I mean, you're still sleeping with people for money now. So, you know, but let's move on from that since, you know, we'll be keeping a buck. So, Brownsville, ironically, I actually agree with most of what you're saying. I just still think you're pandering because you're sitting here playing games. Look, you want to talk about Trump because that's your go-to every time you hit the panel. The quote-unquote panel-in-chief. So we're going to finally address this thing that you keep saying because I'm going to tell you what you're doing is you're actually producing misinformation. He made the comment because keep in mind, there are whole conversations that happened at the time. Somebody specifically, he had made the comment about his daughter when he was talking about how beautiful his daughter was. And again, most fathers can acknowledge the fact that their daughters are beautiful women. I don't know why you keep trying to, hold up, wait a minute. I'm not done yet.
You making stuff up, though.
I got 5. I got 5.
Okay.
And I'm in the middle of a nigga moment. I got 4. So with that being said, he had made the comment. He's like, you know what? Yeah, my daughter's beautiful. I would have dated her too. Because
That's
he's a
not what
weirdo.
happened.
He's a
That's not what
weirdo. Okay, fine, sure. Because he's still a fucking weirdo. That's a weird thing to say in that context, even excluding that. Again, irrespective of the fact that he's the president. Y'all keep trying to make moral platitudes for people that who they are versus who they are as a person doing the job. Ironically, as a president, he's done what he said he was going to do, whether he does them properly or not. That's a
not
whole
true neither.
separate, again, that's a whole separate fucking conversation. I got two. Again, you wanted me to disown Trump, whatever. I would never disown any president of the United States of America because I am an American first. This is my home.
Unless it's Biden. I heard you disown him.
I've never disowned Biden. I may dislike what Biden does, but I would never disown that crazy old man. You know why? Because he was the president of my country. His decisions affect my life daily. Whether I agreed with his decisions or not, I support his decisions. Don't mix those two things up. Again, I've only been alive since Clinton. So I guess Bush won. I respect every president and their office because I respect their station. I understand that you're like, well, he's a pedo in chief. He's never been convicted of pedophilia, so I'm not even going to call him that because I wouldn't put that on somebody unless we know it was a thing.
But we know it was a thing. We know it's a thing. We know it. Like, we just want you to know you're making up things. Yeah.
Wait, do we know it? Or yes. So, again, because pedophilia is an actual crime.
Yes,
no. Hold on. We need to get that part clear, right?
Okay.
No, the act of it is a crime.
Hold on, let's go further than that because we're talking. Because I'm gonna speak.
Hold on. So the PDF thing is somebody that is attracted to young
minors. Yes.
Children.
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't realize you said that. My bad.
So when we saying that, so if somebody have that feeling, they never act on it, they're not gonna go to jail. Is when they act on it, is when they actually go to jail. So we got to stop trying to hold on, because what it sounds like is that my brothers is trying to excuse these pedos because they are not proven to be on and get caught on a downstroke with a minor. That is the issue that we have, and when we say that person's not convicted. He is convicted of it when he says, yes, I'm looking at my underage child in a sexual. If he said that about his own child, we know what he most likely saying about other people's children. And so therefore, if somebody's saying something that they are attracted to somebody that is a minor, we can easily say that that is a pedo. Now, well, if he acted on it, that's a different conversation. But it seems like in the future, we're going to have actually downstroke evidence of that as well. But until then, we could still say that he's attracted to younger human beings.
Right, based on his own things he said. And by the way, I'm not sure if some of y'all, like, I've been telling y'all some things that I remember about Trump before he became president. And if you look into why, what's the one daughter he got that he cheated, he got that woman pregnant while cheating on his wife, right? If you go and look into why they broke up, there was an accusation of him messing with her when she was a baby.
Tiffany Trump.
Yeah. That's right. And see, some of y'all just so young and y'all won't even go and look into it. But some of us was here and we remember. Okay?
I wanted to ask Shadow one quick thing about
so Bomb, first things first, because you know me, I know you do your research, so I'm not gonna argue with that. I'm gonna say that I don't know that and I never heard that before. So I can't speak on that because I don't know. If what you're and again, giving you the addition of reliability saying that what you're saying is true. If that's the case, then yeah, he's out of pocket all the way. Then he acted on the act. Then it's no longer just philia, it's actuality, right? And also I need to make another correction because Sharon, actually, if you actually just think about the conduct with minors, right? And in that context, you make posts. You talk about it on the internet, that's a federal charge as well. It's still considered production of CP. That's a serious no. So it's not just in the mind. If you actually do anything to that publicly displays it, you are actually still just as guilty as anybody else. So yes,
What?
PDF
But
is
anyway,
still a crime.
do you think Epstein was one of those people?
Absolutely.
Okay, you do know Trump and him was like the closest of friends. You know when their friendship broke up? When Epstein had to go to jail and Trump didn't get in trouble with him, although they was together, they was accused together. And I told y'all this like a few years back. I told people I remember this story. The little girl come up missing. And now all this stuff is now coming out. But anyway, so you believe that he was real close with one of those guys, but you don't think that he had any involvement, even though you've heard him talk about his daughter. And another little girl, he saw another little girl and said, that's going to be my wife. And when, in a few years,
Right.
she was underage.
At the time.
Yes.
Again, he's sus. Do not get mistake what I'm saying. Bro, sus as fuck. Wait, I got one left. But that doesn't change the fact of what I'm actually still saying. You're saying, well, if he hasn't acted on these things or been, again, blatantly criminally accused of PDFing, I can still say the nigga's a monster. Is my last one. I'll send more money in a second. And I can say that confidently without reservation. But that's not what my problem is. We're convicting people of things that they're not convicted of. Look, again, you just explained something to me that I didn't know about. And again, I didn't even understand the context around it. So there are things that was told to me today that I'm going to now have to look up in order to, double back on that. And again, I don't mind agreeing with you, but am I going to disavow him for being who he is? No, absolutely not.
No, you're not going to disavow him.
Am I going to disavow him as the president? No, because he was still the president of the United States. If you're going to say he's going to put him in jail, put his ass in jail. Let's do that. Let's impeach him for what he did then. Not what we think he did, not what we're saying he did, not what we could have done.
He got impeached last time. He was twice, and people still love him. He got impeached. He was found. They impeached him.
Guilty. Right.
Found guilty.
But Mama, I agree with you. But here's the problem: he didn't get impeached for PDFing. He got impeached because he was an idiot in the office.
This is crazy. Hold on. It's true. So the problem is that, so you saying as long as he's not convicted of it, we can never say that he is one.
Impeach him. We can impeach him for his. We can impeach him for his life.
Hold on. So I just agree with you. I agree.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, so now we're moving it to a different question.
Okay.
So until he gets convicted of it, you saying that we cannot call him a PDF?
No, I'm saying that, well, kind of ish.
And that is a problem because he's displaying every attribute of one from the evidence that was brought to you about his own child, about him grabbing him by a certain way, by having these pageants, and so on and so on. And even saying that girl, I'm going to be able to marry her in a few years, even though she was underage at the time. It's all examples of how he keeps on being okay with being attracted to underage young ladies by his own words, what he said. And so we are just calling a thing is what we're trying to say. Welcome to the show, PhD. Good day to you. How you doing? What's your thoughts?
Good day. I'm doing well. I hope everyone else is.
Hey,
hey, Mom. Hey, Beachy. So I just really came in. I was listening earlier when you were reviewing the show, but I don't know what y'all are talking about at this very second. So let me just listen for a minute.
No doubt. Also, welcome into the show, Kulu. Good day, Kulu. You get the chance to drop your thoughts on, so this way Shada can address all of us at once.
Yeah, what's up, Sharon? What's the panel? Hey, Bomb, Diva, Brownsville, Josh, Beachy. I can't see the other people on the panel. Venus, I apologize. But so just based off what y'all said in the beginning of the show, I don't care if you're mid-stroke. If your wife or girl or whoever you're sleeping with says no, stop, that means stop. That means end it. That don't mean keep going and doing all the other stuff. So I agree with y'all on that. I think these dudes will never come to your show because this is not a safe environment for them, and they like going to like echo chambers, and they like going to people that agree with them, and they don't want pushback to their so-called ways of thinking. So yeah, they're definitely not going to come over here because this is a hostile environment for them. Also, based off what Josh saying, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't convicted for pedophilia. He was convicted for prostitution, you know what I mean, and whatnot, right, of an underage girl. So very rarely do actual pedophiles get charged for the crime of pedophilia, especially billionaires and these elites that we know of, right? So to say that, oh, if you don't get charged with pedophilia, that don't mean he didn't do it. No, that's not true. You know, there's however many women that were suing him at one point in time for sexual assault that settled the case. All these allegations of women in the Epstein files, the FBI tips, this recent document that came out about the him having a 14-year-old girl, you know, give him oral and she bit him and then he smacked her. The FBI like interviewed her 4 to 5 different times. So they must have thought she was credible, right? To do that many times. So like, it's just, to me, just idiotic, man. It just, you know, like at some point is you gonna have to realize, man, Trump was not the guy that you thought he was. And he's not the guy that you voted him in to be. And you got duped, bro. Like, it's okay to say that you got fooled. Just admit it and move forward, and let's find somebody else that can actually do the job that we all want them to do.
All right, great. That was a good one right there. Mr. Seven, you got any words that you want to like to add to the conversation right now?
Y'all talking about like permission, right?
Anything that you heard so far, is there anything that you want to add to the?
I don't want to add on to what anybody else said. I mean, you were speaking about like from what I heard him saying, like when somebody says no means no, right?
Yeah, that's what he said. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, I would say from my experience, generally, it's already like an overstanding between the two individuals, whether or not that man can, you know, go all the way home base or not. I don't know where we get this group of guys who just like are being very confused or they're still guessing. Generally speaking, a woman makes it very clear if she wants to give it to you or not before y'all even sit down at the table, at least from my personal experience. So just to speak on that piece right there, yeah, that's all I got. I digress. My mic is muted.
Can I ask him a question, Sharon?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because he said, you know, he's like, what I understood what he said. I just want to make sure. He said, when y'all sit down at the table, the man and woman agree. What happens while you're at the table eating and she decides, nah, I changed my mind? Does she have a right to do that? Or are you saying that because y'all already made that agreement up front that she don't have the right to change her mind?
I mean, if she sits down, if she changed her mind for whatever reason whatsoever, that would be very creepy of me to keep pressing it. Like once you say that, I'm like, okay, all right, let me know when you're ready. Like me, I've learned that the best method, you know what I'm saying, is like when you fall back and don't press them, allow them to kind of ease their way into you. So I don't do all of that extra stuff. So now you say no, you say no. I'm gonna just keep on eating. We still gonna have a good night.
If
you give me the call back 9 times out of 10 after that. So all I gotta do is just chill and be patient.
Okay. And you know, I don't know you, so I wasn't referencing you. You know what I mean? We talking broadly. A lot of these men say once she start, she ain't got a right to stop. And even if he stopped, then she owe him something. And that's what the conversation was about. He was like, at least she owed me a hand job. And so that's what we're trying to, what you think about that?
That's weirdo shit, honestly. I mean, that's just flat out weirdo shit. I don't even know how to really address it outside of. I would truly advise my daughter to stay away from men who operate and things like that. Not welcome that dude to the cookout if that's who my daughter said she wanted to date. And I would truly advise her not to be with said man. So as a father to a daughter, that sounds crazy. That sounds absolutely absurd. What you mean she don't have a right? She say no, she say no. What if she don't feel good? What if she just came on her cycle? It could be multiple reasons. But what if she just changed her mind? It don't matter. She say no, she say no. If you really that dude and you got something going on for you, I mean, you should already know. See, I think that's from dudes that's really pressed and dudes that don't really get it like that when they finally get around when they like, nope, I don't care how small the fish is, I'm keeping it. So I think it's more the mentality that if you a little more accustomed to dealing with women, you don't move like that, generally speaking, from what I know. But I could be wrong because I'm only one guy, but I digress. My mic is muted.
Hey, Bob, what was your show about?
Which one? Oh, earlier?
Yeah, what was that about? I just see the thumbnail.
Yeah, we was having Nasty Monday on a Tuesday. And we was taking aim at a few people. We letting people know what we doing this summer. What we doing this summer, baby.
Who had a GoPro on?
Well, you saw who had that GoPro on. Okay, the untouchables who think they untouchable. We gonna touch them this year. We're gonna touch them.
What we gonna do, Mom? So we gonna reach out and touch.
Yes, we gonna pull their hair. They're gonna pull their hair out.
Touching.
Okay,
like that. Whoever in the chat, Johnny, that said that once it's going down and it's in process, she can't say no. Sir, I don't know what short voice you wrote in here on, but yeah, they can. At any point whatsoever in the process, if any party says, I'm stopping, you stop. Now keep going on if you want to and see what that gets you.
Not if your name Otis.
That's what I'm talking about.
They don't stop if your name is Otis.
Let me see where we at. We at we did hit 100 likes. That's good. We hit 100 likes. I don't know. What you think we should do? Should we shut it down? We got about like $20 in support for the day. We just hit 100 likes, so that's good. We finally got there. It took 3 hours, but we got there. We still got 160 people in the building. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like and share. Make sure y'all hitting that goddamn notification bell. God damn it. What's up, Phoenix Knight? What you think we should do, Diva? Shut it down?
Let's give them some time, just a little bit. How much you need in the next, let's say, 30 minutes?
So you know what it is, Bomb? I feel like people naturally support what they are into. Mm-hmm. And so, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I find that I thought that, but sometimes I don't even get a penny if I don't ask. Sometimes you just gotta, let people know, hey, support the channel. Because that's what they used to. They used to the beggars, you know what I mean? So you ain't got to beg, but what I'm saying, just remind them,
I want to ask Bomb, Diva, Venus, the ladies, and guys, y'all, y'all can jump in on it too. But who started this thing? I know it wasn't y'all, but I really have an issue with everybody being okay with identifying with the act of sexually assaulting a person. Why do we got to keep saying grape like it's a piece of fruit? If something like that happened to me, it's not going to be found at Publix over there on aisle 2 in the produce section. I don't find being assaulted and violated with my body being identified as a delicious, juicy, scrumptious snack, healthy treat. I don't know who in the Megaverse started making us think we couldn't use proper English and identify an act or what that act was. Is this some type of test project they put on us to see which folks were just going to keep saying grape and which people were going to understand as a basic human? You can say the word sexual and you can say the word assault. I don't want to be identified as a piece of fruit or something so egregious happening to me. So I don't know, how did that get so comfortable with it? Doesn't even hit right. you know, a grape. A grape is good. A grape is tasty. It's delicious. It's over in the produce aisle. I got some in my refrigerator. Okay, it is
It's
not
just BT. It's just really because a lot of people just not used to. They're not content creators, and they don't. They would just keep saying the word over and over and over again. So it's not necessarily anything to do with the fruit or anything. It's just that a lot of people are just not conscious of that you can't just say anything on these social media platforms, and that's a little bit easier for them to understand because people don't say SA in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't
Content
say,
creators got to operate in the space they're in, and you
yeah.
don't want to get
That's
struck and everything else. But
because I already struggle by having conversations about Trump and the politics and all that. You know, they be trying to shadow ban me every once in a while. People ain't getting their notifications and stuff like that. So, you know, just try to because these difficult conversations is the ones that's going to get shot down the most. It ain't the ones that's just talking about nothing. Like the channels that just have conversations about anything and nothing at all. And then they say, hey, y'all, what's going on? Yeah, man, I'm just having a good time. They say that, hey, chat, what's up, chat? Yeah, what we doing today, chat? Those are the channels that get pushed the most. But the ones that's actually having difficult conversations, those are the ones that kind of get a little bit more difficult. And plus, when you're using those words, it's a little bit more difficult for YouTube to promote it as advertisement, so then therefore they shadow ban it for that reason as well too, because difficult conversations are a little bit more difficult to advertise for YouTube, and so they penalize the content creator for attempting to have a difficult conversation.
it's a way to operate in a space that has policies that we might not even necessarily agree with, but in order to have those conversations, you kind of got to adapt. So you change up words, things of that nature.
I don't
Right,
know. I
because
think they
it's the
might be
white man's
playing games.
platform, and black men don't create these type of platforms, so they have to follow the rules put in place by those white men on social media, as they do in every other aspect of their life.
But it's not just social media, but it's with the advertisers as well. Advertisers don't want to pay for those type of things. All the people don't want to pay for those kind of conversations either. Neither want to support. The people support a certain group of people. So we could say that is the black man's fault, but hey, at the end of the day, they support the white man then. They ain't supporting the black
Yeah,
man.
because I be on plenty of different other areas, and they don't do that. Like they're getting by, and I know what you're talking about on the monetization. They don't be in the yellow. They get a green. I don't say those when I'm doing it, and I would have the green dollars. I never had a censor sense, so I guess we can. It's fair to say some people can get away with speaking correctly. They can say a woman was violated. They can say the proper things, and no one, the algorithm pick it up. But if you do it, they're gonna run you into the okay. So they got selective decision making on the censorship. Okay, because I was just curious. Oh, I got censored on Twitter because I said Satan. They censored me one time. I just misspelled. I thought, well, when we couldn't say the word Satan on here. So I do get it. I think sometimes we might have got too comfortable. I'm calling you. YouTube got to holler. I'm gonna call them about that because it just feels.
One time I did a show that had no cursing whatsoever, no words at all, but because of the subject matter, it got in the yellow. And we didn't curse at all through the whole show. And just the title of the show got a yellow because of the subject matter. So they be picking and choosing who they want to try to slow down and who they don't want to slow down for sure. And let's just be honest, like I have more people
attacking.
Right. I have more people attacking me than actually
And if you give them that word, that report that they're gonna do is gonna go even further. So
you know what I'm saying? I get a lot of this more than anything else. I get a lot of this.
Shadow, I'm glad you're back because I wanted to ask you a question. So when you were saying
there you go.
that,
What's up?
When you were saying that because he's president, right, you're gonna respect him regardless. That was hard for me to process because a man's position will never determine how I evaluate that man and whether I support or even denounce him, right? Just because you're president, right? If you play games with kids, I have no problem denouncing that. Now, to your point about having to be convicted, right, to be criticized, you got to look at someone like what's Def Jam dude, the freaky
Russell.
Russell, right? Russell hasn't been convicted, right? But we know he was running around with Kamora Lee Simmons at 16, right? We know when these questions came into play, he moved to Bali and never came back, right? I don't need the conviction to say, yeah, he's a scumbag, right? I don't need the conviction to determine what I believe of this man's character, right? And so just because a man is president, because I don't think you would say, all right, I support Ronald Reagan, right? In the 80s when they're talking about black communities being flooded with drugs. He was never convicted of that, right? But when you look at Iran, Contra, everything else, you can see a connection there, right? So going off of what I know, I can say, yes, I think this was a man that literally harmed the black community through his policies, and I don't support that.
You
I
said
actually
that Ronald
denounce it.
Reagan did that? Y'all be mixing up y'all presidents and shit. Y'all just be saying anything.
No, Ronald Reagan was Iran Contra. But that's not the point, though. What I'm saying is he was never convicted of that, right? But when you look at all the evidence there, whether he's convicted or not, I can form an opinion, right? And I can say it's more than likely, highly probable that he's a scumbag, right? So for me, it doesn't take a conviction to make a critique or to have a criticism or to even denounce someone, right? Because the one thing we do know, a lot of these dudes that do these things with women, they never get convicted.
Like if they blame the woman, you know, when she goes on trial, they had to stop that. Remember back in the day, they would end up putting the woman on trial, even though he's on trial. They want to know, what was she wearing? Did she get drunk? Did she willingly drink something that may have been slipped, you know, something in it? It's still her fault because she shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have dressed that way. She shouldn't have, you know, been looking sexy and pretty. Oh, because if she was pretty, it's her fault.
So I'll address both. I'll address both of those points.
A man. Good.
Hold on, Willie. I'll address both of your points. Bomb's easier for me to address because you put a lot, and I want to make sure I address you fully. Bomb. First and foremost, I agree with you there. Like, at no point should the victim of an assault ever be the one on trial. Like, that makes no sense. There's also post-coitus regret, which is also a real life thing now. So I'm saying post-coitus regret, like at UNT shit went down. So anyway, there are situations where where I could ask specific questions based on specific situations.
Well, I need to know what that means because I don't know.
I got you, Mom.
Post what?
Post. So basically, that post nut clarity that makes you regret who you just had sex with.
Oh, so wait. So when I regret, because there's a few men I regret. You saying once I regret, I'm going to the police because I regret it?
Again, that's not always the situation.
No, but is there any? Can you? I need y'all to put this in your brain, right? So a woman sleeps with a man, and then she regrets it. And so you then say that she gonna go to the police so other people can know that she regretted too.
It happens.
Oh my God!
It happens in interracial couples specifically, especially.
Is the majority or the minority?
It's a very big minority. Whoa! It's a very big minority, and I'm not saying it isn't. I would never assumed otherwise.
Okay. Minority?
It's a major minority. First of all, interracial couples as a whole isn't a great big majority anyway, and then on top of that.
No, it's not. Most people date within their own race. Mixed race couples are not the majority.
Diva, I just said that.
No,
Diva, I'm agreeing. No, I didn't. I said it is a very big minority. It's a very small percentage.
But what does big minority mean? Because that's like, to me, you're saying it's big, but then you're saying
it's a deflecting. It's a negative. Yeah, it's something that it's irrelevant, honestly. the amount of interracial relationships, then the amount of them with essentially racist parents on top of each side, which could cause situations like that, which they do happen. To say that they don't happen is ludicrous. It's something that a lot of people have been convicted of and overturned based on that alone. So I'm not making it a rule or even using it as the example, but I'm saying there are cases where there are situations where something didn't happen that said it did. But in no circumstance should a woman, based on her personality, based on what she's doing, based on how she's doing, based on how far she wants to have physical intimacy, should never be forced into an actual sexual act or any form of acts against their will, period.
But let me
So
put
that's
that on the
addressing.
table for you. Let me put that on the table for you, Shadow, all right? You see, when I was covering the Diddy trial, right? It was something,
Yeah,
because you learn things every day. And I learned
yeah.
something. It was something that was called consent regret. Because, like, you see Cassie and them there, and they consenting. As sometimes a person that's consenting can also not consent, right? But also a person could be consenting at a time and then have regret as well about what they're consenting to as well, man, psychologically. And this is a real thing as well. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be very, very careful when we speaking around. You know what I'm saying? No is just period, whether it sounds cliche or not. No matter how far it goes, no is no. No matter if I have to stop, whatever. Let's try another day, brother. That's it. We just have to leave it where it's at. We can't go around it, talk about this side or that side, whether it's he call him the pedo and chief, whoever, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I read the files all the time. You know what I mean? I ain't here just convicting anything because I can speak if I want to, but we just got to be open to the conversation that is just anybody. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's doing anything that's untowards children is period to me. You know what I'm saying? Period. Because who
Bet.
attacks children? Who is even involved with children? Who is in allegations with children? Who is in anything with children? You know what I'm saying? That's just for me. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what dictionary or Webster define words for us. We could define anything. We want to define anything as what we define it as. Period, point blank. You know what I'm saying? And protecting our children is the most important thing. Your child, my child, everybody child on this panel, everybody in the chat, point blank. And especially if we've seen these Epstein files and these types of things, then that shows us is even more dire straits that we in, that we got to pay attention to the children because that is what they want us to lose focus and track of. We arguing with each other and we losing focus of the children. Period, point blank. You know what I mean? Y'all get it though.
So, Willie, I'm gonna address you, then I'm gonna go to Uda. Willie, so here's the reason why, because there are methods to remove Trump from office. If it's even partially true, and again, I need you to understand what I'm saying. I can respect the office without respecting the person that's there. I can respect his position and what he's authorized to do, what he's in his job to do.
Nah, bro.
Hold up.
I gotta figure out until anything PDF is cleared up. I can't respect nothing until we figuring this shit out, bro. I can't respect it
Nothing.
until we
That's
figure
a
this
hard
out.
line. Nothing.
Nothing. I just until we figure this out, I'm not respecting nothing, bro. And you on trial within us publicly. We putting you in a court of public opinion, bro. No, we need to figure this out. Nobody's gonna sit around with them allegations. No man is sitting around with them allegations on them not speaking up to say that's not me, that's not what I'm doing. Anybody that's sitting around with this lingering around them is weird. All of that's weird, bro. We're not
But Uda,
compartmentalizing that type of thinking, bro. It's just one way we need to think. Period. That's how I
but
believe.
Uda, even if that's the case, we still have to put him through an impeachment trial. If we're gonna use public opinion, put him through impeachment if we know he's out of pocket.
Yes,
That's
but
what my
did
point
he
is.
do? What did he do? He started a war so nobody can focus on what any of that.
Impeachment can still happen during wartime, so that's neither here
you
nor
didn't
there.
see what it just did. You didn't see what the Republicans just left. They just
But even to
they
put him
voted
through
on
that
nothing.
process, it starts with denouncing him. It starts with saying, this is a man that has some issues that I can't rock with. He should be removed. Like denouncing it, calling it out
We got
is the
48%
start.
of people. We've got 48% of people who've been calling for this impeachment for 2 years now.
Oh, good.
Again, see, here's the thing. Y'all are assuming that I'm just going to support it. What I'm saying is that there's a point in time when we have to be rationalized adults now. We have to be the adults in the room. Hold on, Uda, I see the face. Hold up. We have to play this game realistically. If we're saying this man's out of pocket, then we have a constitutional obligation to handle that. If we're talking about protecting kids the way that we're talking about protecting kids, because keep in mind, Uda, Now, this is me. Me and you've kept a buck on this situation. There's real ways to handle problems like that.
I agree with you totally
But
there, bro.
but right now, this man is in a very specific position based on, and he is the commander in
People
chief
like
of
you.
this. He is the
Still,
commander. Hold on, commander in chief of the United States of America.
but
And
still, no, listen
we
what
have
I'm saying.
if we
Well,
have a
let me
problem
get
with
to
that, we need
everybody,
to
right?
remove him
People on
from
a
the.
higher level, right? Listen what I'm saying, though, right? Maybe we can
Right.
never impeach people. Maybe we can never change what the government think if you really study the government and the history of everything. Maybe we can't change nothing. Who knows? But the point is, even the higher people put us in a conversation which shows people right here on our level where our lines is drawn at and what we standing for. So it ain't even about the people that's the higher targets on the hill. We got people that's right here in the army with us, and you thinking like those dudes on the hill. So we need to get you up out of here too, because we got snipers there, and you moving like a sniper when we is on boots on the ground here. So it's about using the bigger conversations to the conversation right here, how we gonna change something, how we gonna apply it, how we shifting our minds, and what we standing for. Okay, once we stand in for something, that makes other people start to stand for something as well. Now it becomes something else. It started with 10 people on the panel and the people in the chat. Now, next thing you know, it's something else. Now people's really like, you know what? Because we gonna get down with what we really believe in and what we could get down with.
It's
And the
got to be
protection of
called
children is
out,
something that everybody could get down with, bro.
right?
Period. Because we all got nieces, nephews. If you ain't got kids, we got mothers, aunts, we got children, bro, brothers and kids. A victim is any gender. But it's just point blank, period. It's about how we gonna keep it. But we have to set that standard ourselves. And that's how people get along with stuff. We can't just worry about how things were, what things are, and all of that. It takes one or two, and then things start to change. Things start to shift. We got to believe that we are that powerful that we can shift something. We got to believe that this telecommunication that we're doing now can reach more people and more minds. You have to be more believing in us. You got to believe that, bro.
Uda, so again, I need to clarify. I'm not dejecting what we're saying, homie. I understand exactly. Again, me and you had long conversations about this specific scenario,
You know what? No.
but you also have to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not just speaking as a single American, as 10 people, as a minority in a minority. I'm not speaking of none of that. I'm talking right now. If we're going to start actually fixing problems, if we're actually going to sit down and deal with this thing, because me and you have both sat down and read those files, maybe not all 3 million pages, but we've read enough of it. We know what it is.
Now,
But
you didn't
if
read
we're
enough.
going,
There's
hold
no
on,
way you read enough of those files. Some of the
I
disgusting,
absolutely did.
okay, so some of
I
the
absolutely
disgusting
did. Hold
things,
on.
and you saying you're gonna still stand by him knowing that he smacked the little girl after he made her give oral, right? Because she didn't know how to do it
I tell
properly.
y'all
She
the
bit
story
him.
what I yeah. I'll tell you a
Hold up.
story about
So
that.
wait, let me
Y'all tell me what y'all
iron
think about
that real quick. Bomb.
Uh-huh.
Again, y'all have to stop conflating those two things. I am not supporting Trump. I'm supporting the office of hold on. I'm supporting the office of the President of the United States.
And who is that? Who is that? Who's in the office of the President of the United States?
The Commander
So
in Chief
stop
of the
claiming
United
that
States.
you don't support him when you absolutely do.
Those are two different roles in my life. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a damn about. Hold up, I need to send this money in a second. So hey, keep a tab on me, Sean. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about Trump.
You don't have to curse to curse.
I know it's a tendency.
Just don't.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
continue doing it. Sharon can get the money. Nothing wrong with it. Keep do what
but
you
you
do.
just cursing the curse. Just
I
send him the
know.
money.
He like doing that for
I'll
some
send him money
reason.
all the time. I ain't got to curse to send him money. I just send him money.
That's true too.
End of the day,
but dude, you supporting Trump. Now you trying to say you don't really support him, but you support the office in which he holds, right? Even you, and then you claim you read the files. Now this is the thing. I haven't read much of those files until recently, and they were so disturbing. I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all have, it was so sickening that I couldn't read anymore. And so for you to say you did read it and then you still want to support him, that's crazy work. Them white people not really doing that though. Them white people is sliding away from his ass.
Bro, it's traumatizing, bro.
Because
where
does logic come in,
Okay.
right? We have a president whose name is mentioned in these files more than they mention Jesus in the New Testament, right? Like, at what point do we use logic? Like, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Just period, bro. You know what I mean? Period. One allegation that I read in there, boom. It's J. I ain't gonna say no name, but it's J.E. and Prez. You know what I'm saying? Boom. J.E. and Prez is out there wherever they at. So they got these minors, of course, and they giving them massages, whatever the case may be. So now one of the minors, Prez, Orange guy takes one of the minors. They say the first time she used her hand. The next time he wanted oral. The next time he copulated, he wanted actual physical intercourse, right? I think he threw the money on the bed or something like that, talking about get an AB. It's all allegedly, right? But this is Epstein's girls, I guess. So boom. So now Orange Man and J.E. get into an argument. They say they get, this is what the victim says, or whatever the paperwork says, that they get into an argument and they arguing about him taking deflowering the girl, taking the girl's birthday, right? It's a big argument, right? Trump calls him a little hat bastard. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here, you little hat bastard, whatever the case may be. Boom. J.E. is so furious that he deflowered the girl before him, because he didn't want him to do that, that he violently assaults the girl over and over and over, and brutally abuses her, beats her, and all of that. Based upon, just because, which he can't control this, right? How's she gonna stop? This is just one scenario, and it goes on. It's crazy situations, bro. It's all allegations you could say, but I'm just saying it's just a lot of disturbing things that in there, and it's just a lot, bro.
And then when we say it's allegations, we understand that, but it's understandable that it's most likely true than not, because some of the people have admitted, right? The one who owned is it Apple or one of these, the computer guy who ended up getting divorced because he messed with some young ones and ended up with some disease, right? And had to ask him for medication so he can give it to his wife without her knowing. He has admitted to that happening.
And the wife not jacking him. You got to hear the wife speak. I heard the wife speak one day. The wife not jacking him. The wife is not jacking him. And
A portion of those files are pictures, right? For me, at the point where you have a teenage girl sitting on your lap that's not your child, right? Yeah, you dead wrong. That's weird, right? Like, period. I don't need to go, for me, further than that. I can look at that picture and say, this is a man that is highly probably a weirdo, like a predator, right? So I can denounce you, I can detach just off that one picture alone. But it's like people will avoid the pictures, people will avoid the victim testimony, people will question everything when it literally is right there in front of your face, man. You should not have a teenage girl sitting on your lap, right? Maybe your daughter, maybe. But I don't even trust a lot of dudes to even do that. The more
let me
I
just
start
say
to
this
hear,
also, Willie. Them little girls accused them of this when they were young. They didn't grow up into women and then cahoots to try to get money. They said, this is what happened to me.
and they were ignored.
And they were ignored.
And that's the thing. On a quantifiable scale, right, we find way more children, little girls, right, being abused than we find men that get these accusations about, what'd you say, post-coitus or whatever it was, right? On a quantifiable level, way more children are being taken advantage of, are becoming victims, and they're a lot of times not even getting that justice. So just as concerned as I am with a man that gets a false allegation, I'm saying on a quantifiable level, right, the real issue is with people attacking our babies. So that's my priority.
Yeah. And some of these men lied and said they never been to the island, and then come to find out, you see, they got pictures with them and their family at the island. And so, like, when do we just decide to believe what's going on? We're gonna make every victim go through this stuff. Like, I'm not understanding. I think some of these men, you're dangerous. right? Some of you have daughters, and I don't think you care about her.
If I've got a homeboy that's running around with R. Kelly, right? I can't rock with you. Why are you still in approximation to someone with such a smeared reputation, such a smeared character, right? Like, it's just, it
Mm.
seems like simple logic to me, but
I have
it's
a
crazy.
question. So, and let me preface this question by saying that I don't watch TV. And so I never know what's going on, right? I won't know that there's a hurricane about to be on top of my head until my sister or my niece call me and say, "Hey, you ready for that hurricane?" And so that's the type of life I live. Okay. And so not really being familiar with, I haven't read the files or anything like that. But so why are black people so foaming at the mouth over this? Now I did see or hear where the guy expressly said they don't want no black people around there, right? So no blacks were harmed in the whatever it was that they was doing out there. And so I guess I'm just wondering, like, with all the like, why are black people so engaged in this?
Because I don't
Because
want a precedent to be set that this is okay, that someone else can use in terms of dealing with a black child, which is my priority. But at the end of the day, any child. I'm concerned with just children, period, with the way they're attacked, assaulted. So this is one of those few topics that for me isn't necessarily racial. And there's very few topics I feel like that about. I get what you're saying, right? Like, if it ain't affecting me and mine, listen, it ain't my business, right? I don't get involved in white on white crime. But this is one of those cases where, because I prioritize children,
Mhm.
and especially our girls. But there's a conversation to say we don't prioritize our boys enough either. But I'm not going there with it. I'm just saying children, period. Right? That's one of the few conversations where it's not about racial for me.
To answer that
Uh,
that
Correct
question,
me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there some black, maybe not many, I could be wrong, and I thought um, there was a couple of black teenagers. But I understand your point, though. And what you're saying is that, hey, we need to let them do what they do. But I don't want them to be president. You know what I
yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I
And
don't
I'm
want.
not even talking about wanting him impeached. I'm talking about specifically this whole Epstein stuff. Because and let me just direct y'all attention. What made me think about this is I don't know if anybody is familiar with it's a spinoff of 2020. I think it's called like What Would You Do or something like that. But they've had several of those little shows where they will show for instance, a little black girl in the middle of a street crying and show how all the white people just walk right past them, don't give a fuck about your kids, right?
No, you're right. Yeah.
Um, and so that's what made me like think about this. Like black people so invested about these white folks' kids, but when the shoe is on the other foot, they could care less. They don't
I
even
get
notice
it.
you're a child in need of distress.
I get it.
um, I think mainly because it is children. Also, that show shows it the opposite way a lot of the times as well. That same show you're talking about. Um,
And it never
and
shows white people just running to the aid of black people. It usually shows black people running to the aid of white people. All the ones I done seen where people like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. It's always a black person running to the aid of a white person.
And Diva, I get what you're saying, but my response to that would be if we can set some precedent here, right? And
Absolutely fucking not, Nick. No, absolutely not. You ain't gonna set no precedent. You've been doing it for how long and they still don't give a rat's
I hear
ass.
you.
You
I
not
hear you.
finna set it here.
so, and I just believe that it's a lot of if we allow him to normalize it, it's going to trickle down into our community as well.
It's already
It's
been trickled down. It's already normalized, number one, right? And so we had R. Kelly uh hanging out at the middle schools, and it was an open secret, and nobody gave a damn. right? So now let's not try to act like, oh, well, if we let them do it, then it's going to be our kids, because it has been our kids and we've been letting it happen.
And nowadays it don't happen, right? Because we are more aware.
No, it
Because
certainly does happen. Turn on the news. We can see any number of little girls who have been carted off from their homes by grown men.
and that's why we need to speak up about it. So this way our
Y'all ain't
the-
speaking up about that. You talking about the Epstein files, which involves not your children.
right, because you don't think it involves our children, but it does, because it has men that is a part of this whole ideology of worshiping white men, and they follow them what they do.
But they didn't need to follow them, right? They've been doing it. And so we didn't need this to make them start or stop. And it ain't gonna make them start or stop, right?
No,
They've
but it
been
would,
doing
but it would
it.
make it would make it even bigger.
We don't
Because
even know how
if
big
he
it
get away
is,
with it,
because
I can get away with it. That's the issue that we
60%
keep
of black
running into.
girls are harmed in that way before they reach the age of 18. It's already pervasive. And again, we haven't been talking about it. We haven't been doing anything. But now when it's a bunch of their kids, everybody is a rabid dog around this issue.
So, but that's okay, because on this channel we've been talking about it. But that if they need Donald Trump as the excuse to have a broader conversation, we're going to use that to make it a broader conversation. It is
It's
what
not
it
gonna
is.
be no
Like,
broader
but that's the issue, because when all right, so the issue is that when we attempt to have these conversations, it gets looked over. And then now when somebody like Donald Trump does it, and now it's national news, we could use that to push it even the agenda even further, because we've been having these conversations on this channel.
I agree.
But it wouldn't get any kind of traction, because somebody would say nobody cares about that little girl that's in Texas.
But Sharon, we're not talking about the PDF thing. We're talking about Trump.
So
they're not talking about the PDF. They're talking about Trump.
So sometimes
the conversation still isn't moving. Sorry.
So the problem that it's not moving because, Shadow, you are not willing to just say, yes, that man is a PDF, and we need to get people like that out of it. And I'm not supporting anything that he does because he is that. Once you say, hey, I'm going to just support him because he got voted in, that's when we become a problem.
Again, we're not talking about the PDFing. We're talking about Trump.
Listen, Shadow, you want to protect Trump, but what PhD Diva is saying, you're actually proving her right.
Correct.
Right?
No, I want to protect Trump. I want to protect the authors that he's sitting.
No,
in.
you don't want to protect not our children. You only care about protecting Trump. And so I understand what PhD Diva is saying. I also understand what Sharon is saying, that hey, maybe we need to use this to protect our kids. And I believe, and PhD Diva is also saying, hey, this shit been happening. It ain't gonna protect our kids. Right. But here you are, Shadow, proving her right, because you don't give a damn about them kids. You keep talking about Trump.
So, Diva, it then becomes a way to challenge black men who are okaying this behavior. Right? We can use this conversation to actually speak to the black men in our community who are
Wait a minute.
condoning
So
these
you
things.
need some little white children to be in a
Sometimes,
ring of
not
PDF. Hold on.
Sometimes, yes.
In
That's
a
the answer to
ring
the question.
of
Sometimes,
PDF
yes, we
files
do.
in order to talk to the men in your own community, when you should
Sometimes,
have been
yes.
talking to the men in your own community when you saw them out there messing with little girls.
Not need, but I'm saying it presents
Or when
an
they released the
opportunity.
statistics saying that 60% of black girls are touched before they reach the age of maturity, that could have started the conversation, right?
So PhD, but have we been trying to have that conversation that this double age gap dating is not proper, and these black men be fighting me tooth and nail that it is? All right, so sometimes we do.
But double age gap dating and preying on the children, those are two different things, right?
No, it ain't.
Those aren't the same issues.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not, because I could be 22 and with a 44-year-old man, and that's double age gap dating.
Yeah, that's the
legal.
way how they try to. That's the way how they try to excuse it, but that's not where it starts at. That's how they try to excuse it. They try to say, "Oh, I'm 44 and I'm dating somebody 22." That's how they excuse it. But it started way before she was 22.
That's something.
Right. Then he's a PDF. That's still something different.
What I'm
That's
saying is
still
that
something different.
what I'm saying is that we've been trying to fight for a very long time, because also when that man is 22, what age was he attracted to, right? It was this double age gap. But regardless, what I'm saying is that so for a long time we've been trying to fight these men's degenerate mentality for a very long time. But until whenever they care about it and we get a national light on it, we got to use that as to keep pushing the conversation forward. Because when I'm just sitting here on my own set, right, they say, oh,
Doesn't
just
get
stay
the
there.
attention.
And then when I go outside of my own set and I argue with people over there, they say, why did you go over there? It's like, I don't know. So
It presents
regardless,
a
we got
high
to use
level of
these little white
visibility.
kids, and we got to use little white kids. We got to use Donald Trump, whatever the case is that we have to use to get black men to start understanding the situation. We're gonna have to use that situation for whoever needs it. It is what it is.
But the situation is
It's
understood.
like ammo, yeah. It's kind of like an ammo. Sometimes you got to use the ammo that you have to get the the reaction. You got to work with what you got, and sometimes you got to go to the other side and play a different type of game. You do have to get behind enemy lines sometimes. I do it quite
In
often
this case,
to get what
presents
I need
one
to
of the
get and bring
highest
it back
levels
to
of
our people.
visibility.
Y'all
This
doing
case
all this
present.
explaining, and all I'm hearing is cultural misorientation.
Well, what
Go
I'm saying
Google it.
is this case presents a high level of visibility to address all these freaky 69
Cultural
thugs.
misorientation, like I said.
Y'all know if there was some black girls in that situation, nobody would give a damn.
I
And
would.
so with
Wait,
no,
were there black girls in that situation?
look,
I think there was
there may
one
have
little
been a
mixed
few, but it
girl
was,
that I read
even if
about.
it wasn't many. Okay,
No,
but
it
and they're
wasn't
not
many.
talking about them neither. Okay, but what I am saying, I understand what PhD was saying, because I want to know, why black men, why do you need to grab on to somebody when something happened in another culture for y'all to listen? I understand what maybe the rest of the world not listening, white people and all that, but why I gotta be them for you to even care?
Because the sad reality is, and I'm just gonna be honest about it, right? The overwhelming majority of black men are followers, right? They're not leaders, right? They don't know how to think independently and make sound decisions that's best for their own self-interest, right? And like, for example, we was having conversations here on Sharon's show about Diddy and all of these allegations prior to the Cassie tape coming out, right? And we were talking about the black woman and a young black woman who were accusing him of all of these degenerate allegations, right? And there were multiple black men who were given the counter argument, saying, well, no, it's not his fault. Why did she get in the car? Why did she dress that way? Etc., etc., right? So the issue is, until black men realize that they need to prioritize what's best for them, the only way we can truly attack this issue is by going after their savior. And their savior right now is the pedo in chief, right? They have been indoctrinated to blindly follow degenerates just because they have a certain position of authority, right? It's being displayed right here on this show today. They won't denounce them. They won't speak out against them, really. And they'll say double-minded things like, well, I can't truly denounce them because I respect the office, right? Even though that was an idea that I proposed to him a few days ago. It's fine. He adopted that idea to make himself look good. But the overarching point is this, right? As a black man, as a father, as a husband, and if you desire to be a leader, you have to be willing to stand on your own value system, your own morals and principles, and promote and advocate for the best interests of the people who look like you in all situations. And you know, we're far away from accomplishing that goal.
All right, I want to say
Yeah.
thank you
So
guys. Thank you,
you
Sharon,
said
for
that
having me. I gotta run to the DMV, y'all, and get this driver's license for my daughter. Okay, because yeah.
Thank you so much.
Be
All right,
good.
thank y'all so
Be
much. This
good.
was good. Thank you, Diva and Bomb, the ladies and Venus, always, guys, y'all too. Okay, but this was good.
Bye,
It could be.
BG.
It's heavy though. This was heavy, y'all. You could feel the pressure. I kept going. Oh my god, this is heavy. This some heavy stuff. This didn't even like tip of the surface. Just want to make that note that this is not an easy conversation to have. I'm pretty sure the people are triggered, other than myself. But thank you so much. I appreciate the conversation. Bye, guys.
Later. Thank you.
One of the things that's hard for me to hear,
I'm
Sharon.
gonna use that as an excuse to read some of these super chats. Wall Street Willie. Go ahead, PhD. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Is it
You
me or
there?
her, y'all?
Yeah, she's there, but her microphone is not. Detroit Coalition with the $2. Shadow always coming in strong and wrong. Damn. Also, we got the Verbal Assassin. F around and find out. Gifted 5 wildest wake up show members. Thank you so much. And everybody that got a membership, please maintain it. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, Verb. Yogi Fish 01 with the $9.99. Respect to the conversation. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. And she said, hold on. You better slow up, Sharon. My bad. She there? Nope. Shadow, the Titan Watch with the $10. Game on.
Shadow, the Titan Wasp, $10. Game.
And before y'all go back and forth, shout out to Detroit and KT the GOAT. Thank you for your patience. I'm gonna bring you in shortly. Let me just check on this. Let me see who this is. Welcome to the show, K. K, are you there? Country. There you go. K, you there? Microphone not working? Come on, K. All right, so we'll wait for K to either hop on screen or get his microphone together. I'm not sure what's going on with K's microphone. Before Shadow go to his back and forth with Brownsville, because he said game on, so I know what that means. Detroit, what's your thoughts? We got KT in here. What's your thoughts? Go ahead. Yeah, then everybody mute button is acting up. I guess KT go first. Detroit. Go ahead, KT. We go KT first, and then we see Detroit get his microphone together. Go ahead, KT.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, salute to all y'all. Shout out to y'all. I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet. I'm not feeling too well today. Hey, Mom. Hey, Mom. But the thing I came up for was the last thing Brownsville said, where he said that they want to just represent the pedo in chief. And even though we have like disagreements, right? This is why I be saying the importance of like the government, because it's not about like, it wasn't Donald Trump who was doing this. It was the government who was doing this. And this is why I'll be saying, like, even we talked a couple of weeks ago with us being P words, right? This is what I'd be talking about in terms of we have to stop trying to utilize, like saying this is an enemy we can go at instead of sometimes attacking the real enemy. Like I do get we could use this as a moment, but these people are traffickers, okay? When we talking about child safety,
you said Donald Trump. When you said Donald Trump wasn't doing this, what you mean?
I'm saying Epstein was, and the government was allowing him before.
You mean, and Donald Trump wasn't there? Is you saying Donald Trump wasn't guilty?
No, I'm saying Donald Trump wasn't running the country. Like before, Jeffrey Epstein has been doing this long before Donald Trump was running the country and the government. He's literally a government and a Mossad agent, like proven through those Epstein files.
KT to go. What Bob trying to get at? So way before he was running the country, was Donald Trump involved in Epstein shenanigans?
For sure, yeah, for sure.
That's what she talking about. So go ahead. Now you can move forward.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, the people who allowed him to get in that position is the government. And like, I think sometimes we have to stop. Like, if we really want to address issues, we can't just say like, this is the one person we hate and comment on that side, and let's utilize that and pull that down. It's kind of just putting a band-aid on the gunshot wound. Like, if we really want to address the gunshot wound, we do need to,
You
like,
cannot
again, like
take,
I'm
you
saying,
cannot just remove the government.
no, I'm not saying we can remove the government. I'm saying like how we're even. I mean, because you can't just remove the president. Like us as regular people can't just remove the president, right? But we'll say like, well, this is justification for why we should want him removed. Like maybe we should use this as justification for why we should possibly say, hey, maybe we should change some government oversight. I'm not
No,
going to
so it's
say
not the government oversight, it's the people that is in the oversight that's taking advantage of the system is what we need to get removed. We got to stop allowing the idea because they was able to sneak their way into a position of power that we overlook them. We need to be looking at them even harder. So people like, if we could grab somebody like the highest of the land, and then that would trickle down to everybody else underneath that to be up for scrutiny. So we could start by there that maybe people that is chasing politics would start being a little bit more upstanding citizens as we start to drain the swamp, so to speak. But I'm gonna use his own words against them.
for sure. But what I'm saying is that's how the swamp operates. Like I know we have like the thought in our head of how it should be. That's what we all argue constantly, but we honestly like constantly ignore how it functions. And the government is not like, listen, we're choosing the president. We don't choose the FBI directors. We don't choose the people. Those are the people that are in the politic positions. And then they're putting people, let's say their friends that they rock with, like just people they had business interested. We can physically prove how many people leave the government and go straight into lobbying and corporations of America, right? So I'm just saying we see all of this. I think it's just foolish for us to say let's like dedicate our energy towards Trump. Because no offense, again, Trump, the Epstein files
Okay,
came out
so
with
who should we
Trump
be
as the lead.
dedicating our energy towards?
Like I said, the government. Like
Right. We cannot, so, that's what we're trying to get you. Not the government that is the problem, is the people that we are put in position that is running these things and hiding under the system.
That's
So
why we don't
if we
put
can
the
remove
feds in
the
control.
people, because if you remove the government, it doesn't remove the people at power.
It does. It literally does in the majors, for even down to the
okay, so you saying it does. Where has that been proven?
Okay, the Epstein files are out right now. The feds had them for years, right?
No, understand. No, what I'm saying is that
No, the Fed did not have. What you mean for years? How many years you think?
They've had them for years, since since collecting evidence since the 80s.
Yeah. No. A lot of them files came from Epstein himself, from his hard drives and things. They went through his emails. It wasn't from the 80s, like you just said.
No, I
The
said they've
files
been
came from his
collecting evidence.
conviction. The files came from after he was a convicted sex offender, right? Then that's when the larger investigation took place.
And also, let me allow. No, you're not banned from my chat at all. So I don't know why you think that you're banned. Go ahead. And also, I got a cash app. I apologize. For Josh said he not pro PDF, but he's pro PDF policies. Damn.
Hey, Cuzzo, who was that asked if they was banned?
Questions to ponder.
Okay. I'm just making sure it's not been through.
No.
I mean, she was on that panel. She rocks with them.
Yeah, but no, I was just pointing out like it's been a long-standing line of evidence for Jeffrey Epstein doing what he's doing even prior to his conviction. Like, because we do know in the 90s he got caught up with some BS with some of his associates. I'm just pointing out they've known for a really long time this man has been doing this work, and the people that we have seen in the current Epstein files, where we're talking about the part where Jeffrey is talking about people, they are government politicians. Like they known, they participated. And again, the most dangerous people like that we can see half of the time it's not just a person, it's a government-backed person, like a
This just
U.S.
don't make
American.
sense what you're saying, a government-backed person. When you mention the government, you're talking about a group of people. So
Right.
what we're saying in this instance with Epstein file, do you know the people who gave him a walk in the park and the people who didn't even do anything to Trump, right? These people are now in his cabinet. Did you
Right.
know that? Like they did him a solid, and then now they are in power.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I just
Oh,
explained. That's how the swamp
no,
functions, right? That's
right,
how
but you
every
making it
president we
seem
can
like
talk
the
about.
government is groups. So everybody in the government aren't these bad people, but we do
Right.
have some bad
No,
players who
I said
have
the
the
feds.
power.
Like the
What?
feds would be the main
So
problem
so
because the
What?
feds are who would make
the
the
problem that you fell
CIA,
into
the
CKT to
FBI.
go. The problem that you are feeling is saying that we have people that's in the system that is being bad actors, and you try to say because we have bad actors in the system, we need to get rid of the whole system.
Right.
No, I'm saying because the system's been manipulated hand over fist 1 billion times, and it's going to continue to do so. Like y'all just said, Trump's new friends in office are his friends who got him off of other things. This is again, that's how the swamp works. It will be like again, it's taking out the drug dealer instead of the plug in this case. Because we're watching the literal drug dealer be the government. That's who
Yeah,
Jeffrey was
but
talking about.
but the problem that you keep missing, right? Is that sometimes you got to take the drug dealer so you can get him to snitch on the plug.
No, when you don't have no evidence on the plug, we literally have the Epstein files. We have all the evidence we need. We could literally, even Pam Bondi herself said, we don't want to release the whole thing because if we did, it would literally take down, like if we actually arrested the people in the Epstein files, America wouldn't even function as a country.
But that's not
That
true.
many people in
But
the
That's
just
not
prison.
because
true.
hold on, but just because she said it doesn't make it true. Right? She
Especially when
might have
she
she might have said that, but it's just not true. We have things. The next person would step up and they would have to move it accordingly. So no, just be, even
AOC
they
ain't in them
arrested
files.
everybody. We'll just have to have new elections and so on and so forth. Things will have to move accordingly for the people that did not or was not involved in it. They will have to step up. They will have to get promoted in lines straight up. So no, the government would not just not function anymore because we arrested everybody that is a bad actor. Let me also welcome into the show the GOAT as well. You want to join in this part of the conversation, GOAT?
I mean, I just say from what I was hearing, I if you go look at them files go all the way back into the 90s. Like them files start old and come all the way up to now. So I mean, a lot of it is just old investigative material. Like if you look at it, I mean, you kind of see that. That's what I would add to what they was just talking about. It's a lot of it is old files.
not them pictures though, and when they gathered and ran
That's
into
what
that
the media
man's house.
showing y'all. That's what the media is showing y'all. Those of us who actually went to the files, there's stuff in there from 1996.
We know that, but what we're talking about,
1999.
the disgusting things was the stuff he was holding over people's heads, them pictures, them videos, and things like that. He was blackmailing people, and the government did not have all of those things.
Yes, they did.
No, yeah, I
No,
was
they
about to say
did not.
the Trump pageant thing is
So I
from
don't
the
know what
90s.
y'all like. Yeah, I don't know what y'all doing with this. It's like I mean, I guess this is just like we gonna get Trump thing. No, they have had this investigative material for over 2 decades. Even the Florida case that's wrapped up in it, that was the investigative material from the Florida case. They knew this stuff.
It began in 2006. That's a fact. Over 2 decades.
Yeah, but that's not the 80s, now is it? What somebody said. They said the 80s.
It's
Well, no,
stuff in there from the 80s,
investigation.
but it's just documents
Yes.
about like his donations and his allegations and stuff from the 80s too in there. It's
Yes,
just
the
unproven, but it's definitely
allegations.
allegations.
Yes, and the allegations were put out for everybody to see back then. Like when I speak on things, when a lot of people say no, that ain't true, I'm like, I remember it being in the paper. I remember it being in the media. These allegations against Epstein and Trump are not new. These things been happening since way back. But the things that they are releasing now and trying to hold back, those are things that a lot of those things were not. They was on his hard drives, Epstein's hard drive.
So okay, I know what you're saying. Some of it was, but what I'm referring to are FBI reports from 1996, heavily redacted reports from, you know what I'm saying, 2002. Like they've had this stuff for a long time. Yeah, and they just been,
you're right about
keeping
that.
it suppressed. Yeah.
When did Epstein get arrested again?
19.
The first time.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's 7.
the first
No,
time
the first time.
07, right? It was 07?
Yeah, it was a
07,
while back. Yeah.
somewhere around
The
there.
investigation began in
Yeah, I thought it
06.
was 06. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me also welcome into Detroit. Did you get your microphone fixed?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you want to address this part of the conversation?
I'll jump in a little bit here. So first off, we got to remember that investigation wasn't an ongoing investigation until the case was closed during Trump's administration, right? So even through other presidents, that investigation was still going on, even if it involved, a future candidate. The investigation was still going on, like investigations might go on, even after he was convicted in 2007 or 8 or whatever it was. That investigation kept going on. So every piece of evidence that you have is part of a bigger investigation, right? And it would take somebody to stop that investigation, where the files would now be axed upon sorry guys, got a walkie next to me too. But it would be somebody would have to say that this case is closed before we gonna open up any files or anything like that, right? So Trump was his DOJ was the one who said this was case closed. It wasn't under any other president, it was under Trump. So if he closed the case, that's why the files were asked to be out. If he hadn't closed that case, the hope is that the investigation would still be going on, and all that evidence that's been gathered since his first conviction was just furthering the case that they have against all these people. So the only reason why I got pressed to be released, the files be released, because he closed the case. And the reason why most people believe he closed the case is because his name was all over it, just like we see his name is all over the file. So things happen in sequence for a reason.
Why are you saying Trump closed the case, though?
Say what?
Trump didn't close the case.
His DOJ
Trump
was the
doesn't have
ones that
power
were
to
in
close.
office.
Yeah,
No, his DOJ was the one who closed. His DOJ was the one who closed that case at the behest
It
of
was
Trump.
that. It was
Still an ongoing investigation even after that.
It's a New York judge that dismissed the case initially, and then
Right,
before
but that
that,
doesn't stop the
state
FBI
of
from doing
Florida.
their investigation when they get accusations. So as long
So
as
when he
because
the problem is this, that like when y'all do this, you're not acknowledging that the state of Florida, first off, they gave him a non-prosecution agreement. You move into the next layer, you're talking about a federal judge, yes, but you said Trump did it. Y'all just be saying shit. And I know it's because
no, stop for a second. I wasn't even done talking
Oh my
when you want
God.
to jump
Go
in.
ahead,
But let
man.
me just
I'm
say
listening.
for real,
Go ahead.
what I just said, I'll say it again so you can maybe understand it. Okay. Under Trump's DOJ, the case was closed. And when I say case closed, I mean nobody investigate this anymore. So all those files that you're talking about that we haven't read that you have, right? Each one of those had a dedicated federal agent that was investigating those claims. But if you don't have a case anymore, if you're closing the case altogether, if the DOJ is saying there's nothing else to see here, then all those career FBI agents don't investigate all those different accusations, right? If you don't close the case and those accusations are still being investigated by those FBI agents. So the reason why the investigation stopped was because the DOJ decided to stop. What I'm saying is whatever you're talking about the judge said, that didn't stop the FBI from continuing to investigate other accusations, which you can see in that file. It was thousands of them.
Right. So what I would ask is if y'all know what y'all talking about, why then wasn't any of these?
Wait. Can't you make a point without trying to demean us about what we don't and do know or something like that? Because you got a weak ass point, probably. Because you're gonna have a weak ass point. Go ahead with your weak ass point.
That's fine. You're a goofy. So I'm gonna talk to you like the.
Go ahead with your weak ass point.
So like I'm saying, you had 4 years of nothing being released, with Trump being loud, trying his best to be seen. He comes back and runs another election. Why don't you have evidence coming out, some type of proof? Why did Biden's DOJ keep this silent then?
Exactly. And the reason why Biden's did it was because I'll tell you why.
Don't run.
I'll tell you
Don't
why.
run. Because
Because you
if
talking about I
you're
don't know shit.
arguing
I'll
the
tell you what I know.
DOJ,
What I
go
know,
ahead, fam.
you
I'm
gonna tell
listening.
me I don't know shit, but now you gonna say I ain't got an answer for you, even though I got an answer for you.
I'm listening. Go
What
ahead.
happened was Joe Biden's DOJ, Joe Biden in particular, was more worried about seeming like he's investigating a former president. So he was more worried about politically it looking like the Dems were going after the Republicans.
Right.
So, like he's supposed to do, a president is supposed to stay independent from his DOJ. He's not supposed to interfere with elections or coerce certain agents to do or not do something unless he was bringing a case to somebody, right? But this case was already something that was being investigated. So why would he then come in as the president and say, you know what? I know y'all been investigating this Epstein stuff. Let's triple down on it some more. Because I feel, it's not politically, it would be seeming like what the Republicans were trying to make it out to be, which is that it was a witch hunt.
That's
So
what
he
they
stayed
kept saying.
independent like the president's
And we're
supposed to
seeing
do.
now, that it's a witch hunt. That's what I'm saying. Because again,
No,
we're
it's not a
already-
witch hunt, bro. You done found
I'm
all
just
the
saying,
witches
I'm
in the
saying,
files that you
I
talking
just
about that we
listened to you.
didn't
I just
read.
listened to you.
You
I
found
just
all the
listened to what
witches
you
in the
said.
files that you said that we didn't read.
That's great,
And you
fam.
talking about it was
So
actually a witch hunt.
So
That's what you're
so who's
saying?
been arrested? So who's been arrested?
What you mean? Who's been arrested?
Who's been
The woman.
Who's been arrested? Who been arrested? Who
What
been
do you
arrested?
mean? We know who's been
You got-
arrested,
you got
and she right now
Epstein and
Trump
Ghislaine
got her.
Maxwell that have been arrested,
That's
right?
right. Max,
You had
If you
Epstein and
don't,
Ghislaine
if
Maxwell that were
nobody
arrested,
goes
right?
to jail, if all it ends up being is
Hold on.
Jay-Z
You
and a
got
bunch
Epstein.
of gossip and a bunch of
Epstein died in
nonsense,
jail, so you're talking about he didn't go to jail. Ghislaine
No,
Maxwell's
she
in prison right now, even though now
right?
she got a
She ain't.
softer sentence
She ain't.
and
because
he
the
was in
president
jail.
is in office
Epstein
right
was
now.
in jail
Fam, I
too.
know
Wasn't he?
y'all trying y'all best, but just don't talk over. I don't have to talk over you. Don't talk. Listen, fam.
Are you
Ghislaine
telling me
Maxwell was
Epstein
in
didn't go to jail?
Ghislaine
Are you saying Epstein
Maxwell
didn't
was
go to
in jail.
jail?
Ghislaine Maxwell was in jail before all of this, so to use her is nonsense. Who has
What is she
been
in jail for?
prosecuted? Who
What is she
has
in jail
been
for?
prosecuted?
Is it
Who
linked to
has
is it
been
linked to
prosecuted?
trafficking?
Hold
Is
on,
it
let
linked
the
to
other person
trafficking at
finish.
all?
Hold on, let the
How
other
would
person finish their thought, y'all. Go ahead,
Oh,
go.
Kyle,
Detroit,
just
you
what you
care,
stupid,
fam? He
dummy.
can't deal with it. The fact of the matter is, 4 years under a whole Democrat president, nobody went to jail, no files were released, nothing happened. You get Trump back in office, now you get
Well, they were
files
sealed
released,
though,
and nobody's shut your bitch ass up while
And
I'm
nobody's in
talking.
jail. The files
but they
released,
were
so
hold on,
sealed
ain't
y'all.
though.
nobody in
Let
jail because everybody's redacted, right?
we want to destroy the argument. Let the person land their argument, and then you can go ahead
Fair
and rebuttal.
criticism.
Go ahead, finish up. Go.
Again, these files sat 4 years under Biden. Nobody went to jail. Trump gets in office. They do the Epstein Files Transparency Act. They're released. Can somebody go to jail in the United States? Is anybody? Until then, it is just talk. It is just gossip. They got y'all out here talking about a tip
So
line
go.
and Jay-Z
Who has this
and
DOJ put in
everything
prison
other
for the
than,
Epstein stuff?
hey, you stupid, weak nigga.
Hey, go. Who has
Everything
Trump's
but
DOJ
the
put in
real
jail because of the Epstein
conversation.
files?
Do you know
Who has
that
Trump's
there are
DOJ put in
still
jail because of the Epstein
currently
files? You want to answer that one?
there are still
We ain't gonna
currently
put nobody in
trafficking
jail because
rings
all
out
them
here
is his
right
people.
now?
They
There
even
are
admitting
currently
that if they don't win,
there
they
are
going to jail.
currently
They go into
there
jail
are
if they don't win.
currently
They
Hold
admitting
on,
Once
that
trafficking
they
again,
rings
don't.
right
hold on,
now.
currently this DOJ
hold
released
on,
the files. How
Bomb
many
in
convict?
Detroit.
How many?
Bomb
How
in
many?
Detroit. Hold on, Bomb in Detroit. He's not going to be able to finish his full thought as long as
I
y'all
He
keep
ain't
just
on
really got
want
landing.
to
no
finish,
thought. He
man. Because
he just
the
bumping
only
his
Right,
gums
thing
on
I'm
Trump.
saying is,
regardless, you could be able to rebuttal after he finishes
God,
thought, so
he
people can
can't.
hear
Okay.
your side.
He can't
That's
rebut
all.
nothing I
I'm
say. All he
waiting.
goes
I'm
and
waiting
Trump
for
and
your
Trump
soliloquy,
and
dog, to
Trump
finish.
and Trump and Trump and
And
Trump.
Trump and
You don't
Trump.
give a.
Yeah,
Fam,
that's
I
all you
want you.
think
I
is how
don't
to
give a
protect
fuck
him, huh?
the
about no
issue
Trump.
is
Fuck
there
Trump.
are
Hold
child
on,
trafficking rings right now.
You sound
There's
like you
nothing
talking about
funny.
witch hunting too right now. You sound like them, like the fools.
There are child trafficking rings right now. I know they got the
Yeah.
remedial running around chasing Epstein dead ass,
Oh,
but what I'm talking about is bigger than anything you're talking about because you're not talking about the issue. You're talking about Trump. I'm talking about trafficking. So when you bring up Ghislaine Maxwell, yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell was already locked up when they first started dropping these files. Who from these files has been locked up? Who from these files is going to jail?
Nobody.
Not
Go ahead.
nan motherfucker.
All right,
Not
so go
because
ahead.
the DOJ that's in this
Hold on.
office,
All right,
right?
so go ahead, Detroit.
Right.
You can, go ahead.
So what you're saying is this DOJ released those files and you still ain't had no charges from it, right? So once again, the DOJ that you are touting that we're talking about too much We're talking about Trump and Trump, but his DOJ is the one who has, like you said, released the files, heavily redacted, with victims being unredacted and predators being protected by redaction, right? And you're talking about which DOJ did something about it, and this DOJ hasn't convicted anybody. So to ask you the question back, who has this DOJ convicted or sent to or even put cases on out of this file?
That was his point, though.
Yes, I won't ask you
No,
a
that
question
wasn't
with a
his point.
question. I'm gonna remind you.
No, it's not. That's not his point. He didn't make that point at
I'm
all.
going to remind you. Asked me a question. Shut up. So I'm going to
Little
remind
bitch ass
you.
nigga.
that
Listen, I
at
don't
the
know why these little
previous-
soft ass niggas
at
some
the-
other towns think that they
oh
got
my
some shit on them,
God.
nigga.
Don't get
I'm about to
scared,
say, man.
bro. Don't
Finish
get
your
scared to
thought.
respond.
Finish your thought. Don't get your
At
shit
the
finished,
pre-
dog. For real.
At the previous
Don't fuck
DOJ
around with me, dog. I ain't that
Oh
one.
my.
All right, y'all. Come
Yes,
on.
you, bro. You the.
Just let him
Get right.
answer.
Get right, nigga.
Just let him answer.
And
Come
this
on.
is where we pull out our handy dandy conflict resolution card.
I'm just ignoring what you say. So look.
Hey, yo,
So
Diva,
again,
chill.
when we talking about this conversation, but you leaving out again that DOJ that you don't want to discuss. The previous DOJ actually had a better chance of getting a conviction out of these Epstein files because this current one, according to you, Donald Trump has something to hide. Donald Trump is using the power of the DOJ to keep all of this suppressed. So it would have been better for this to come out under the previous administration. Therefore, there wouldn't be a conflict of interest. So no, I'll agree with you. Nobody's being charged now, but nobody's being charged now because the last 4 years, didn't nobody say nothing about it. What y'all talking about?
Getting
I know.
It was
I
like,
know.
When did you ever hear about? Hold on. When did you ever hear about FBI talking about ongoing investigations in the press? When?
It was sealed to 2024 by a judge till Max Pelosi's case was over, so they couldn't release all the files.
Thank you. So it was still an ongoing investigation, and don't no FBI agents, don't no FBI ever come out and say publicly that they still have an investigation going on anybody if they still have it going on. But you know what they will talk about when they want a case closed. And the only people that were talking about closing a case, and this is old news, was this guy and his party and the MAGA heads and everybody that got him elected.
Who's going to get charged, fam? I'm asking.
Say it one more time.
Who is going to be charged?
You listen, out of that, who could be charged? Man, this little motherfucker right here, dog.
Quit stuttering. Quit stuttering, little nigga. You wanted to do this with me. Let's get it. Quit stuttering. Who's going to be charged?
I don't know if he wanted to do that with you, but you came up
Who?
on fire.
Who is going to be
I'll
charged?
tell you what. Here's what I'll do.
Nobody.
I'm gonna actually go read line by line who actually popped up the most in here. Since you done read the files, because you would know, right?
Yes, I know. Nobody.
Oh, so nobody's guilty of anything in there? That's what you're saying?
No, nobody's going to be charged with anything. Are they teaching y'all how to listen in Detroit?
You ain't saying shit wherever the fuck you at,
Okay,
nigga.
so I'll
You
say
ain't
it
saying
again.
a damn thing.
Dumb ass, because everybody else heard me say it.
Yeah. Well, they're not gonna get charged because you know
Okay.
what Trump
Prince
gonna do.
Andrew,
Trump gonna
right?
give them.
Prince Andrew's getting charged in his own country for shit.
But
ain't
like I said, this is a nothing burger.
Trump is gonna give them what the same thing he trying to give Elaine, right? He go and then he
Sweetheart
definitely
deal.
gonna give it. Yes, he definitely gonna make sure he don't. You know he don't care about no pedos. He gave her a easy way out, right? He probably trying to sneak her out that jail as we speak. Okay, so. Yes, that's who he is. Remember, that's some other people. He just gave them the right to just walk right out of jail as if they never been charged. So, like they
Like I
thinking
said,
that
I
he
really-
would have been.
I just-
Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
just know a lot of people just talking about this. They're not actually looking at the files. They don't care what's in them. They don't care whose name's tied to it. If we talking about this for real, we supposed to be talking about people going to jail. You're connected. But what it is, it's Trump. Trump's connected. And that's where y'all stop. That's where y'all in the
He's the
conversation.
president. He's more in the files than anybody else, right? So why would we not concentrate on him? What's the distraction away from him?
Because nothing is happening. This is gossip at best.
And it won't happen if people like you are in charge, right? Because you're just gonna say,
No, if people
"Man,
like
this
you
shit
was in
just
charge, it would've
boring,
been- it
dog.
would've been
We ain't
happening."
even talk about nothing. We ain't
I'm
talking
sorry,
about to talk
fam,
about,
it would've-
nigga."
But I'm just saying, with me, it would have been happened. I can take you back to 2019 with my content on this. Where
And
was
if
your
you didn't
pussy
have enough
ass at?
evidence, then you would have been
Where
charging
was
people
your
for no
pussy
damn
ass
reason,
at? It
right?
ain't never been a time when I ain't talked about this. When was your pussy ass talking about it? I bet you just started under Trump. Show me any social media history of you
Bro.
talking about this before Trump. Any. I know.
First off,
Cornball.
I ain't on
Goofy
social
ass.
media like yo.
I know,
None
Goofy.
anybody who's on
You just
social
got on
media.
here to talk about
You got these
Trump.
little niggas
Another
out there that got
Trumper.
all this time about
Another
a nigga or
goofy
whatever
Trumper.
without talking about the
But
facts.
we're not a Trumper.
I ain't
We're
start
a
talking
Hold on,
about you till
Taz.
you start
So
talking about
Another
me.
goofy
Now, if we want to keep it
Trumper.
to the facts,
but Taz,
clown
Donald
ass
Trump,
nigga,
right?
damn,
right?
Donald Trump motivated a lot
You
of these
most
people to
concentrating on me
become
except for the motherfucker that's
politically
actually
astute.
doing the dirt,
But wait, Taz,
Like, this is
right?
I get your
pathetic.
point. So I want to ask you a logical question, right? When Trump ran on this, he gave this investigation life, right? Like this was
Mhm.
one of the things he ran on in terms of draining the swamp and everything else. So wouldn't it make sense that now it has a higher level of visibility because he ran on this?
Yeah, I think that's what he wanted. He wanted the attention. Now he's got it. I'm perfectly fine with that. My point is nobody's going to jail. So when somebody like me says this is a fucking nothing burger and this is gossip, weak ass Detroit niggas got to shut up until they can show me who going to jail.
What about
Until
Nobody's
you
going to
can show
jail
me who
because
going
your
to
weak
jail,
ass
shut your weak
president and
ass
your
up.
weak minded ass self don't believe that
That's my
anything should be
comrade,
done.
Bracy.
Nothing.
That's
I
my
I
You
bet
believe
you
that we
so
did.
should just sit
Taz,
back and
I bet
do
you
I
didn't know
absolutely
that.
nothing. Because the complaint that you had, hold on,
So
Sharon, the complaint that you had about the Democratic Party is the same complaint that we have about you. You want to sit there and do absolutely fucking nothing, but you want to talk shit about other
So
people.
I'm
Where the
Joe
fuck you
Biden.
from?
Nah, that's
Tell me
not
where
I
you
had
fair.
from. Where you
I
from?
had
So I
the
can talk to you
ability.
about
I
your
had
city.
the ability to
Clown
release
ass
the
nigga.
files.
Clown
Ohio.
ass
I had
nigga.
the
I know
ability
your
to do
reading
something
level is
about it.
low as fuck because you ain't read the files
This
talking about
nigga
the hidden.
compared me to
You can
the
go right to the
Democratic
DOJ and
Party.
look them up right now and see all the
You
redactions,
got to be
right?
kidding.
And if you go to the right AI site, you can remove the redactions. There's people been
I
doing that
cannot
for
believe that
weeks now, right?
you're blaming me. You're blaming me for
No, I'm blaming
Democratic
you for
inaction.
raising the temperature of this conversation. We could have kept it to facts, but you want to bring it on
Yes,
some other shit.
it's
And I'm
about
here for all of
children,
it, dog.
soft nigga.
I'm here for
It's
all of
about
it. Been here for
children.
all of it.
I'll
Damn,
take it
Sharon
through
gonna
the
cut the
top.
show
It's
off.
about
Damn it, Sharon.
children
nah, y'all
I
good. Go
wasn't
ahead.
trying to.
I'm gonna let y'all have your argument because y'all ain't letting us
because
two
you're
regulate it.
running.
So y'all got it.
You're running. These conversations about the Democrats are the reason why we're still here. You keep trying to run behind Trump. No, Biden should have got Trump when
Oh,
he
nigga,
wasn't
you are
president.
silent to
He should
Trump.
have got him when he
You are
wasn't
doing
president.
everything that little clown needs you to do. He needs people to
He
be
should have
silent. He
got
needs people to
him.
talk about
He
other
should have.
stuff. He don't need to
He
talk
should
about the
have.
facts, right?
He
You
should
rather
have
talk
got
about
him
Detroit
when
than
he
talk
was
about
not
Trump,
president.
right?
Can you hear
You
me?
rather talk
Are you
about us than
listening?
talk about Trump, right?
Are you
This shit was
listening?
while he was president.
Biden
While his
should have
first DOJ
got
was in office,
Trump.
they closed the case. The reason why he wanted to get in office so
Biden.
bad was because he knew that no,
Biden
Biden
should
did
have
not kill
got
that
Trump.
case. That case did not. Right, Biden did what every
You
president should
running,
have done.
man.
Let the DOJ do their job. Let the
You
FBI do their
running.
job. That's
You
what he was
running.
supposed to do.
No, it's
I'm
not.
not
No,
running
it's
from
not.
shit.
Okay, so
You
let me.
are
So wait.
in
So
this
let me tell
fantasy
you what he was
world of
supposed
what
to.
politics
Let
should
me
be and
tell you
ain't
what he was
supposed to be.
supposed to do.
No president is supposed to issue the
So let me tell you
DOJ
what
to
he's supposed to
investigate
do.
shit, or
Yes,
issue
the
them to
fuck
stop
they are.
investigating it, or issue
Yes,
them to
they
redact
are.
certain shit that you're not
Hey, wait
supposed
a
to.
minute, fam. You just telling people anything. So the FB. So for example, the DOJ didn't go to Ferguson and control a whole investigation and then shut down their whole police department, issue a consent decree. That didn't happen.
What
The
does that have to do with
motherfucking
this?
the DOJ do what the fuck they want to do. Coward. You don't know what you're
Listen,
talking
man.
about, and you
Did
lying to
the
these
president
people.
tell the
You lying
DOJ
to
to,
these
right?
people.
They're
You
independent,
are
right?
lying
They're
to these
independent. So
people
by your own
because you
fact, fool.
hide
By your own
behind
fact,
Trump.
idiot. They're
You've never
independent. They
taken a
independently went
civics
on
class.
into Ferguson, right? Independently, because that's what independent
That's what
groups
the
are supposed to do,
FBI
right?
does. That's what the
Right.
FBI
Not at the
does.
behest of a president, right?
It was
But you're
at the
talking about they
behest
should
of
just do whatever the
Obama.
president say,
At the behest
right?
of Obama.
They
It was
didn't go at the
Obama.
behest of Obama. No, they did not go at the behest of Obama to go help with the investigation. And no, they did not. They went.
Are you
Listen,
kidding?
man. I don't know.
Are you
I'm
kidding?
the DOJ,
Where
the
was you
head of
at
the
then?
FBI would have
Were
been
you
in
paying
charge of that,
attention then?
right? Now, obviously, if the president don't want them to go, he's going to tell them not to go. But the presidents traditionally traditionally, historically, have stayed independent from the DOJ. And if you don't believe
No,
that, then that's on you, right? That's on you. But
okay,
that's what
so
it's supposed to be.
it's on me
Now,
to
now
prove
that's the
it to
thing.
you,
Not all
but you're
presidents have operated
running.
the way it's supposed
You
to be.
won't deal with what I'm
And now
telling
you want
you.
to be okay with that. That's
Do you
the
know who
problem. The
Eric?
problem
Do
is
you know who
that
Eric
if a
Holder is?
president acts in a way that's irrational, you want to
This
make
is
it okay
crazy,
because
bro.
that's the president that you support.
I don't care about the president. That's you.
Then why the
You
fuck
the
are
one
you
that
so big on us
you are
coming down on
literally
Trump some kind
hiding
of way?
behind
You
Biden.
coming
Fuck
at us like
Trump.
we coming down on Trump
Man, this
for
is
no
crazy.
reason. Oh
No,
man.
I'm not. No, I'm not, fam. For some reason, you want to keep saying Trump, 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 and I'm assuming because you know niggas dumb. I'm telling you to listen to what I just said. If Joe Biden is the president and he is over the DOJ, the same way you just said Trump is over the DOJ, he had the power to deal with the Epstein files according to your argument. You only
Yeah,
want to
but that's
start the onus.
false.
You only want to start the onus when we start talking about Trump. Them
But you're
files in
false.
there.
You're
Oh
wrong.
my
You're
God.
wrong. You're wrong.
Where?
Listen.
Where?
Yeah.
You're
Where?
wrong because
'Cause now
the
we can start
president
pulling up proof.
should not. He don't look. He's separate from the DOJ. Trump, who's a criminal, don't give a damn about the rules, and that's why he is instructing them to do what he say. But that's not how it's supposed to be, and that's not how it has been. And that's why Biden had nothing to do with what the DOJ was doing. He
That's
was
him
letting them
telling
do
you
their
that.
investigation the way they want to do it, and that's what they were doing. So you are now saying the criminal, since he's criminally doing this illegally, that Biden should have also been a criminal
The
and did it
executive branch
that way
can
also.
initiate
How,
investigation.
now,
Did
wait, what
Biden
would
not
be
send?
criminal about that? What's criminal
Hold
about
up.
that? What?
They are supposed to be separate.
The DOJ
The
is not
president
separate. The DOJ
does,
is part of the executive office.
Yeah, the
right. The
executive
president
branch
does
can
give the
initiate.
DOJ certain
Oh my
Right.
God.
issues to, yes. It
Right.
Like
does
Yes.
have that. Right,
Like
Obama did it with
which
the
Biden
police
did.
departments. Paz mentioned it. Obama actually did it with the police departments in, what was it, Ferguson or somewhere?
Yeah.
It was in
Yeah,
Ferguson
Ferguson.
New
and
Orleans.
Baltimore.
And there's something going on in New Orleans, but that's what they're supposed to do, right? He'd say, "Hey, we need you," but he didn't go tell them, "Hey, you need to go get Epstein. You need to go do this." These individuals, right? So that is
That's the
what Trump
criticism,
is
though.
doing, though, right?
That's my point.
That's the
That's my
criticism.
point. If it's an issue and you had the ability to go prosecute, go prosecute. They did it. And that's not just, it shouldn't be just Trump. Okay. Obama was in office when the shit happened with Epstein. What are we talking about? Obama got a
Yes,
sweetheart.
and
He got a sweetheart deal when Obama was in office. The
Exactly.
feds
He got a
the
sweetheart
feds,
deal.
no. The feds could
No,
have
no, no.
prosecuted Epstein back then when Obama was
They
in
did.
office. No,
They
please.
did.
Nah, he
They
was
did
working
prosecute
for
him,
him.
and he got a sweetheart deal. You just said that.
That was the state. That was
No,
the
the
state.
feds did. The state gave him the sweetheart deal because the feds told
The
them
feds
that he
gave
was
him a
working with him.
non-prosecution agreement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was working with him. I'm on your side for most
That's
of this. Task, but I'm
Obama's.
just
He was
saying
That's
that.
working with who?
Obama's administration. What? How do we get all the way up until the end of it? The man dead, the bitch in jail, and now suddenly everybody want to know. Why you ain't want to know then? Don't
And
you
then
want to know
because
now about
Trump,
Because
y'all
I'm
not.
telling you
It's
now,
It's
there are
what Willie
current
said though,
there are
Taz.
current trafficking rings now. There are current
Yes.
ones now
Okay,
that nobody's
but
even talking about.
Taz, it's exactly what Willie said. Like Trump is the one who brought this upon himself. Like most people didn't know what
Yes,
the
I'm glad he
Epstein files
did.
like that, except for
Right.
Wonderful.
Most of us didn't
conspiracy
know.
theorist type niggas. Yeah, like most people didn't know even of the. So Trump is the one who did this. Now I also do want to say again, I'm with you, but the thing I think you are skipping is he is the most talked about person by Jeffrey Epstein in the Epstein files. Like that goes also into why people are trying to make him like I may not agree with it and say we should go get everyone instead of just him, but we can. It's easy to see the argument is like he's the person who said, "Oh, all these bad people are in the Epstein files," and he's the main one in there. Like,
Right.
And real quick, let me just say, because I know my phone
he's
died,
been
just
in
real
there.
quick, and I ain't gonna cut you off.
Go ahead.
I ain't gonna cut you off. I just want to say real quick. Part of that is what we like. If you have been watching this and been like keeping track of like the missing girls and stuff like that, do you think that anything that this man is doing is helping that? Because this is one ring and this is how they treating this. You think that they wouldn't treat other rings like this too, as long as they can get some kind of favor out of it? You know what I'm saying? So even if he wasn't attached to some of the cases you're talking about from years ago, like that same kind of predatory behavior, right? That's I wouldn't say that he would stop just at the Epstein shit if he got away with that, right? So it don't matter about the level of how long, anything like that. We found out now. So what we gonna do about it now? And
You know why it matter? You know why it matter, bro? In 2022, I did 51 videos on human trafficking. 51. 50 of them were each individual state and one about the federal issue. I'm telling you that because you talking about one person. And I'm telling you that if you understood the issue itself of human trafficking, if you understood that Jeffrey Epstein would be irrelevant at this point. I just don't understand what we're talking about. Trafficking continues. Epstein dead. G-Lane gone. Ain't nobody getting prosecuted in them files. Can't we move on to the next set of children being kidnapped and trafficked? Oh no, y'all want to talk about Trump?
No.
Well, we
Listen,
was actually talking about something
listen.
else, and we touched on Trump, but we was talking about men, right, allowing blaming the victims. That's what we was really talking about.
But no, I'm
So
talking
you
about.
can't-
I'm saying that in terms of the societal part of it, not in this conversation per se, but in the
Oh, I see what
societal
you're
part
saying.
of it.
No,
They
but
acting like
Taz,
this is the end. Like Jeffrey Epstein is the end of the conversation, and he's not. He's the beginning of
nobody.
it.
No, you're right.
I think everybody agree with that too, though, Taz.
Yeah,
But
you're
this the
right.
main thing. If we do grab the people off the Epstein list, we are taking out major contributors to the trafficking system at hand. These
So be
people
it.
are players. So, like, even how you said, yeah, Ep died and it's still going on because we literally seeing Ep clientele list out here free and running around.
That's what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you, though. But and that's why I'm saying again, people may not know, but this H.T. Baldwin nigga, you know. What do you mean? When do we start? Don't you? You know how long I've been started. You know how long I've been saying these things. So ask these people, when do we start? Because I'm tired of waiting.
But give us some information.
All of a sudden now Epstein and Trump and now everybody in the conversation, everybody want to talk.
No,
Well,
I
this
think
is over.
I
Will you
think
be
you were
ready?
saying what I think
That's
you
what
were
it's
saying
about.
what
It's more about
PhD
you
was
being in the
saying
front line.
to a
Go
degree.
ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was saying I think you came up and you were saying similar to what PhD was saying right now. Why do we even care about, especially since Trump, right? And I think that's what she was saying as well. But hey, give us some, because I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never heard about no Epstein files until Trump and all this stuff. He claimed he gonna clean the swamp, and now we hear about Epstein files. Before that, though, I just knew that he got caught having some little girls giving massages and things like that. They downplayed it. So what I'm saying, but it sounds like you saying you know more things than we even know, and I am here to hear it. Okay.
It ain't about knowing more things. It's more so reporting these things for many years and it not just being an Epstein conversation. That's where my frustration comes from. That this topic we don't ever have to talk about Epstein to talk about this topic. I've been doing this shit for years and I don't recall none of these people being around for it. But now when we talking about Epstein and Trump, everybody got something to say. Yes, I'm
But now we gonna come over, babe. We gonna come over and listen to you. We want to hear.
I'm talking about, but Bomb, I'm talking about even surfing the YouTube streets. It's only a handful of people who talk about what happens to children. It's only a handful of people.
But Taz,
And
we've
then
been
you
through
get
this on other
Trump
channels,
story.
Taz. You can't
this
use
Trump
like
story now.
YouTube.
Everybody's involved. No, dog, stay involved then, because that's the problem. You're gonna leave us alone. You're not gonna be there for the long haul. Once we done with Epstein, you're done. You don't
So
care.
that's a judgment that you're trying to make on everybody, but
Nah,
you're trying to
nigga,
make
that's
that off
the
of
history of this platform. That's the
Nigga,
history of
listen
the
to what I'm
platform.
saying, because you turn that shit right at
Show
me,
me
though.
your,
You know
show
what
me
I'm
your
saying?
content on it then, because I'm
Nigga,
telling you,
I don't
you
make
ain't got
content
none.
at all. Like, I don't make
I
content. I'm
know,
not a
so
content
shut up.
creator.
So
Nigga,
shut up.
just because I ain't a content,
So
hold
shut
on,
up.
hold the
You're
fuck up,
making my
bitch.
point.
Hold up, bitch
Because
ass
if it
nigga.
mattered
Just
to
because
you,
I'm
maybe
a
you'll
content
create
creator,
content.
listen, I cannot be a content supporter too, couldn't I? I cannot be watching this shit right now, couldn't I? I could be just doing some other shit, watching basketball or something like that, like niggas be doing, right? But you gonna ostracize a nigga that's trying to be involved? What you saying?
We
I'm
need
starting at the
your
wrong point?
voice in the fight,
I'm starting at the
man.
wrong point? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to say? I'm starting at the wrong point?
No,
Because
what
you're
I'm
saying
trying
like when somebody wants to know. No, shut the fuck up for a second.
I'll
You're
wait.
saying when somebody wants to know, when they talk about what they have researched so far, that's a problem. That's just your ass trying to be the attention getter. You just want to be at the front line and say, I was doing this shit first. Fine, nigga. How do we get to this point with you at the front line? How do we get to this point? With you making all your fucking content shit, nigga? How do we get there?
Right. So you can
Right.
get there by
Shut the
going
fuck
back.
up like you was
Go
telling me
back,
to do,
go
nigga.
back to the
Because whatever the
previous
fuck you was
administration.
saying
You
wasn't
act like
accurate.
you wanted,
You're
you act
probably
like you
on
wanted
some
to answer.
bullshit like you've been on in this conversation.
You act like you wanted
You
to
don't
answer.
know
I
how to
can
lead,
definitely
nigga.
tell you how.
You don't know
This is
how to
how.
lead. You know how
This is
to
how you
fucking
can help
design,
the
nigga.
conversation. This is how you can help the conversation, though. Considering that you don't do content, how about you shut the fuck up and deal with the people
How
who
about
do
you
content?
teach niggas
And
instead
act
of
like
fucking
you
dogging niggas, right?
act like
You
you
can't do
don't
that because
know.
that's not what because you're
Act
not a
like
good
you.
leader.
Hey,
That's
fam,
what the
I'm just
fuck it
trying to
is.
finish.
You've been on this shit for all this
I'm
time
just
and ain't
trying to
led
finish.
nobody to nothing, right?
I'm just trying to finish.
Right. Ain't led nobody to nothing except for more
Where do
distractions.
you get your
What you talking
information
about? Niggas
from?
from Detroit, right? Right. There you go again.
Where
All you got.
do you get your
Me,
information
nigga.
from? Where do you get your
What
information
information? You want
from?
my what? International news, national news? What you want?
Your news that you're talking about with Epstein. Where do you get it from?
DOJ. I went right to the DOJ. There's a gentleman I follow on social media who's broken down every single file. He's still going through it and everything like that. Associated Press, Reuters, independent journalists that I trust. Yeah.
So you
I don't even
haven't.
watch
So
like
you
the
haven't.
news like that no more.
You do know you could just take out the time yourself and go look, right?
I could, but if I have trusted sources, I can use trusted sources too. Like you
No,
would
well,
be.
no,
Like you
no,
would be, like
no,
you saying, right? You're a trusted source on this, right? So if I
no. What
went to
I'm
somebody
saying
and
is,
said, I want to know about abductions that were happening in the 2010s, and you talking about you were at the front line of it,
oh
I
my
should be able to
God.
go to you for that, right?
But the problem is you're gonna argue. You see how you won't shut
I'm
up
not
when I'm
arguing
talking?
shit. I ain't
You see,
arguing except for
you
you
see,
talking,
you see
trying
how
to
you
dog
won't
me,
shut
nigga.
up when I'm talking?
Except for you
That's,
trying to dog me,
that's the
nigga. So if
problem.
you don't try and dog me, you fine. Go ahead and talk.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. Again, when you
And there you
haven't
go. I'm
done
the
any,
problem, nigga. Just teach.
yes, you are. Yes, because
Like
you're
a
still
teacher
talking.
getting to the class and say, you know what, y'all the
Because
problem.
you're
Here's what
still
y'all need to be
talking.
knowing. Nigga,
You're
teach me.
still talking. Right. You're
Because
still
you don't know
talking.
how to lead, nigga. You know how to
Yeah,
wolf.
yeah. You
That's all
can't
the fuck
lead
you know
no
how to do.
man. You can't lead no dead man. You ain't gonna do nothing but
There
keep
you
running your
go.
fucking
That's all
mouth,
you know how
nigga.
to do is wolf, little bitch ass nigga. Puss ass nigga.
The difference is I ain't
Unlearned
gonna
ass
lie,
nigga.
bro. I'm gonna wait for
Decrepit
you to
ass
get
nigga.
done. I'm gonna wait for you to
Teach.
get done
Why
crying,
don't you
fam.
teach?
Right, okay.
Huh?
So again, so
You've
as
been
I was
doing this
trying
on
to
social media
explain
so
to you,
long, and
oh
yet
my
all this
God.
shit still didn't happen.
Oh
So
my
it's something
God.
about your ass that people just don't fucking like.
Right.
And
So
I
as
see
I was
why.
trying to, okay. So as I was trying to explain to you, you can go to the files yourself and create content with the files yourself. Instead,
You talk
you're
about
getting
content.
third party. Oh my
I
God.
don't care about making content. I
You're
care about getting
right.
facts. Right?
Okay.
Okay.
So when you're not looking at the files themselves, you're not getting a fact. You're getting someone else's understanding of the file, right? Right? You ain't looked at it. You ain't seen it. You waiting for the news or some content creator to tell
You
you what they
still ain't.
saw.
You